Good evening, everyone. My name is Laura Schifrin, and I will call the Select Board meeting of September 2nd, 2025 to order at 6 p.m. Roll call, please.
Veronica Cal present.
Larry Goodrich present.
And Laura Schifrin present. Would you all join in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As always, I would like to thank all of our veterans and all of those that are currently serving here and abroad, all of our first responders, as well as all of our elected and appointed volunteers to the town and their families, because without their support, none of them would be able to do what they're doing for the community and the world, actually. Is there anyone recording the meeting? Hearing none. 1.4, Chairman's additions and deletions. Under 3.1 and 3.2 are being deleted from the agenda this evening, but are being moved to our next meeting, which is 9/24. Right?
I thought it was 9/25 before the town meeting.
I think we have another 24.
Do we have one on the 24th?
I think that's when we had originally scheduled it prior.
We did,
to,
and then I thought we moved it to the 25th.
Let's check. I have it on the 24th.
And the 25th.
Well, we'll probably meet before. I didn't write it in my calendar on the 25th, only that special town meeting. It's
I think initially we were
7.
thinking that
I won't be present
for,
the meeting on the 24th.
okay, what,
I'll be here for the special town meeting on the 25th. But I will not be here for a meeting on the night of the 24th.
okay, you can't do virtual either?
No,
Okay.
I'll be in transit.
No, well,
Sabrina will be back in. Maybe we can recheck with her on the date
Okay.
to just confirm.
Just
okay?
know that I won't be here.
Okay.
did you guys have anything scheduled for the 16th, which would be a regularly scheduled?
I think we had
No.
decided against.
Because, okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm just saying that's usually that's the third Tuesday.
Yeah, I know.
So, but yeah, I think in lieu of that, we had scheduled it for the 24th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough.
Or maybe it was. Do you remember any better
I
than
have
we
it on
do?
for the 16th. So we can check.
No,
Okay.
it was the 24th, and then I crossed it out and put it on the 25th.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's see what Sabrina has.
25th is fine.
I'm okay with the 25th.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the 25th.
Okay.
I will be here,
Okay.
so. But if it's the 24th, it's the 24th too, so.
Well, if we
I
don't,
mean, you guys.
if
Can,
we don't have to, but, well, okay.
You guys
So-
can change it.
And are we good with, do you want to do, it's at, the special town meeting is at the high school at 7.
Correct.
So do you want to do our meeting at 5?
That
Okay, very good.
It probably would. I think that would work. If you would. The agenda would have to be able to accommodate that time frame. So you can either have a shorter agenda, or you can start earlier than 5. So it kind of all depends on how much you have.
Okay.
So then
And we have time
also,
to do that.
let me ask, do we have a meeting on the 30th?
No, not according to my calendar.
Because I do have one on the 30th.
Oh,
Do you, Valerie? Yeah,
I think we should wait for Sabrina because she wrote
Yeah.
them all down.
yeah, okay.
yeah, let's do that.
All right. We were at additions and deletions, and 3.1 and 3.2 were being moved to
9:25.
9:25.
9:25.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Veronica.
Could we move something out of order tonight?
With
Number 4.8. So we actually have
capital strat solution update, of the on-call Public Relations Services.
Yep, they are actually here tonight.
Okay,
Nicole and Jennifer, so if we could maybe move it out of order so that they can present.
I'm okay with it if the board,
I'm okay with
fine.
that.
okay, let's go.
Only to,
Okay.
before 4.1.
Yes,
So that's just
Sorry,
moving
I'm the one
that.
taking minutes
Can I do
tonight,
the,
so.
can we do 1.5 first?
Oh, yeah.
you can also do 3.3 as well.
Okay, so we're just moving the other up. Alrighty. 1.5, review and approve the minutes for February 11th, 2025, February 13th, 2025, February 20th, 2025. Just do February 1st. Is there a motion?
I move that we review and approve the meeting minutes for February 11th, 2025, February 13th, 2025, February 20th, 2025, July 30th, 2025, and August 19th, 2025.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
No, I think I'm good.
I just won't vote on the 3 February ones.
Okay. That's why I said. That's why I said.
And I
why don't
realized
we
that
do
after the fact.
February 1st. Can I
I'm-
start over?
Yeah.
Can we start over?
Want me to make a new motion?
Yes, please.
I move that we review and approve the meeting minutes for February 11th, 13th, and 20th, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
February minutes. Is there
Okay.
any discussion on the February minutes?
I am good with them.
I am good with them as well. Roll call.
Veronica Cal, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Is there a
And
mo-
Valerie abstained.
Valerie abstained. Okay. July 30th, 2025 and 8/19/2025. Is there a motion?
I move that we review and approve the meeting minutes from July 30th, 2025, and August 19th, 2025.
And I will second that.
And is there any discussion? I have none. Roll call.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich-aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you very much. Thank you to Sabrina for getting that done. And Ronnie with your assistance. Okay, let's go to 3.3. Appoint Laura Schifrin as Highway Department Representative to the Townsend Town Properties Committee effective September 2nd, 2025 until June 30th, 2026.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich-aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you. And we'll go down to 4.8. Nelson.
So, I've invited, Nicole Figueredo and Jennifer Thompson from Capital Strategic Solutions to make a, presentation on their, on-call public relations services that, proposal that they've, sent to us.
Okay. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having us this evening. My name is Nicole Figueredo. I'm the CEO of Capital Strategic Solutions. And joining me is Jennifer Thompson. She's our Chief Development Officer and also my business partner. A little bit of background about Capital Strategic Solutions and kind of about myself. I was the first PIO in the then town of Framingham and helped them migrate through their transition in governance to a city. I was also one of the first PIOs in the Metro West area. And we help communities throughout New England. We're dipping down into Florida and New Mexico with their communications and community engagement. And I know that Jen is no stranger to Townsend, as she has been assisting with ARPA and other projects within the town of Townsend. So we're really excited to be here tonight. And more or less, we'd like to be here to answer any questions that you may have about us, our expertise, our services, or anything other than that. Jen, did I miss anything?
No, you didn't. I'll just say hello to everyone. Some of you know me already. As Nicole mentioned, we've been working in Townsend. I really work on the financing grant side, and Nicole really heads up the communications and public relations side based on her background. So we were very excited when Nelson had reached out. because we already love Townsend. So, we've worked with you for quite a few years, and I'm excited that you may possibly get to work with Nicole a little more directly on some of the on-call communications assistance. We did try to craft a proposal that's similar to how we crafted proposals in the past for you, and that it is an on-call. So you can use our services as much or as little as you need throughout the year. There's no required amount. There's no retainer. Because there's certainly stuff that we know, we both have worked in the municipal side the majority of our careers. We understand how strained your budgets are. So we know that there's plenty of things that you can handle in-house that you may not need us for, but there may be instances that come up throughout the year where you may need to lean on us to help a little bit with some of the larger communications needs. So we tried to really craft it that way, in that you're in control of how much you use our services. And there's no, like I said, there's no retainer or fee that you have to pay every month. It just exists there for an hourly contract when you need us.
Questions?
I attended the MMA communications webinar. They've had 2 of them over the past 2 weeks, and and actually they supported this comment. Sometimes the place I see this used a lot, and maybe we need some templates for things like that. But what happens when something happens in town and a call is made by a TV station or a radio station or some sort of media outlet for a comment? And my feeling is no comment is in itself a comment, and we need something that's a little bit better than that. So I can see needing guidance when something like that happens. So I guess my question is, how quickly can you respond? Because typically when that happens, it isn't anything that you've prepared for. Like, you're going to get this call. So how quickly would you be able to answer a question that Nelson or the Board of Selectmen had about a comment that is other than no comment? And maybe...
Sure. Sorry, am I cutting you off? Do you want to finish your question? Okay, so typically within an hour, we could have a press release ready to go. We do have on staff multiple communications personnel. We also have Elizabeth Kalajian, who works for us, and she also worked for the news channels. So she was the person who would, gear up the news reports for, I think it was Fox 25, Jen, and a couple of the other larger news channels here in the Boston area. So she knows what angle the reporters are going after. I myself have worked in crisis communications for both small communities as well as large counties such as Pinellas County. So we can work very quickly to put up together some talking points, get the press release out, and even if you need to do stage a press area, we could handle that as well.
I would just add too, I think, Nicole and I worked in on the municipal side, and we understand the 24/7 nature of it. So if you do have something happen that's an emergency, it's not necessarily going to happen Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So, and we understand that. So we're available all the time. Someone would always be available to Townsend. We're local. Our offices are in Hudson. I live in Franklin. Nicole lives in Worcester. She's even closer to you. So if necessary, if you did have some sort of large event that you needed us there in person, that also wouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
I mean, I saw the same webinar and I thought the same thing.
Yeah, they recommended that you have templates available.
Yes.
For something to put out there, and I don't know that I am unaware of us having any templates.
Templates are really great to have, and we can actually draft those templates for you and for your team. But it's also using those templates to address the situation. No 2 situations, no 2 communities, and no 2 incidents are alike. It's just like, when someone gets in an accident and they ask all the witnesses, everything's slightly different. So we don't like to make cookie cutter press releases is what I call them. We like to make it more geared towards the voice of the town that we're representing. We always see ourselves as an extension of that community, and we take a lot of pride in our work, which is why we have a lot of municipal clients existing, working with us, because we want it to come out from your voice. You can create a million templates, and I think they're great to have in your back pocket in case we're not around. But I think it's important that the Townsend voice shines when it comes to that release. And it's your personality, it's your brand, it's everything that says something about Townsend, which makes it unique.
I think the one that I would like to have is the one when you get that initial call that says, I'll get back to you. You know, how do you respond to that? And it's that one that I'm really looking for. And then we would have the time to contact you. Because when we get that call, I don't think anybody really anticipates that necessarily.
No one does, unless it's like a large scale event that you know that the media is going to be interested. But sometimes you have smaller events that you're like, well, it's a one-off, or it's this or it's that. I mean, we have communities that we work with that in some cases we didn't think it was, not us, but the community didn't think it was that big of a deal. And I'm like, well, it kind of is. You know, we're working with one community who has a tier 1 water violation. And they're saying, well, it's just a tier 1. It's not like a boil water order, and it's not something that we have to put a pause in. Right now, it's not an emergency, but you do need to notify your residents. And it's becoming very newsworthy right now in the current climate because of water quality issues throughout not only the Massachusetts, but throughout the US. So if it's a hot button issue, sometimes, you know, it's just giving them that, okay, we don't have something for you right now, but we'll get back to you in a few minutes, or giving them the cadence in which we will return that call. And we have the staff on board that can help you navigate those challenging situations.
All right.
We just to speak to a little bit more of our background, we also have on staff multiple levels of retired public servants. So we have anywhere from, you know, a town manager, administrator, all the way down to, you know, a records access officer. So we're well aware of the public records law and what can and can't be put out there. We're well aware of, you know, I saw that Townsend uses a revised website. We have a webmaster, and I'm familiar with using Revise from working in other communities. ADA compliance, not only with your communications on your website, but also in your social media outreach and how those things are supposed to look. That way there you don't violate any ADA laws or public records laws. We also have water quality experts as well as public safety experts on our staff. So if we do have a question, it's not that we have to catch up. We're already like maybe 10 steps ahead of the game.
Okay. So I'm looking at for this more of a response from the select board's office. Then public safety kind of has their own coverage, but I feel need someone for us. So
Or the town administrator,
Yep.
if they're available.
You know, I like the idea of you having a script, or, you know, something ahead of time if you get that call, because I know some of you might get calls at home, right? I think that's what happens when you're on the select board. Or you know, you could have a new board member who this is their very first time dealing with something like this. They're newly elected. So having something that just kind of tells you what to say, like you said, Veronica, if someone calls, knowing you're not saying no comment, but you're saying we'll get back to you. You know, there's a specific way that you should answer, and then following up, you know, an hour or two later with more information. I think that's a great idea.
right.
Are we looking for a motion?
I don't know. Do you guys have any more questions before?
I don't. I'd like to have the team with us, especially since it's on call. They're already familiar with our situation financially, so it isn't something we can, have to come out of our select board budget should happen,
Right.
originally, so.
I don't have any questions.
Okay. So do we want to discuss, or do we want to?
Well, we've seen the proposal, we have
We
that,
have.
that was the last meeting, so now we're meeting them, in quarter.
That was August. The last meeting was in
Yeah.
August, wasn't it?
Which was just yesterday, or the day before, so. I'm open to,
It was just per hour, right?
It was a per hour, I believe it was 165
Yeah.
per hour.
Yeah.
If I remember right. On-call public relations services. I am, of course, am very comfortable with CSS. I've been very happy working with them, so. I would,
I mean, I think the one trick is this is, our logistical thing is we have to meet to approve. Or does Nelson approve?
no, that's a logistics thing
Yeah,
to
so this
talk
would,
about.
yeah, at a different time and how that would work.
Right. So this is more of a, I guess, a motion to, accept the, proposal by CSS,
Mhm.
including the fee of, 165 per hour for on-call, let me see what they call it, on-call communications, on-call public relations, with CSS.
and if you want to make it subject to formulating a process
Yeah.
of approval, that's fine.
I wouldn't make it subject to that.
Yeah.
I would
Oh.
accept it, and then as a secondary, we figure out amongst ourselves. And we should look at the media policy that we have
Right,
in place already and see if that needs to be edited somehow.
okay.
But I think that, but I guess back to the motion would be to accept the proposal for on-call public relations from Capital Strategic Solutions.
So moved?
Would you second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay,
Okay. Any further discussion?
not from me, no.
Then roll call.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Are we good to try?
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Nice
for
to see
having
you.
us.
Thanks.
So I'm looking here, I don't see where there's anything to be signed.
I think it's because it's not
It's not a,
contract.
as such, it's just a fee for service. Okay, and then we should look at the, maybe we can put this on the next meeting, and that way, let me see what it's called specifically.
The media policy, right?
I believe so. And, we should, maybe the three of us and Nelson, review it and then put it on the agenda for discussion at our next meeting.
Media relations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so then that's it.
yeah.
9:25.
I mean, they recommended having a team and this and that in the MMA thing.
I think
I don't know.
that's
Yeah.
like
It seems a little.
cities might have that type of,
Right, I see us more as, this is a kind of a one-off thing. It's not
Hopefully,
not something that, it's
I
something
hope
that.
we never have to use it.
Yeah. and that's what I wanted to end with, but it was nice of them to come. And I think we need to have something like that to support us.
Yeah, so then I just want to go through how we, from our side, we decide when that's needed and not needed, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, so that would be in the part of that policy, I think, to agree on that. And maybe make updates to it, depending.
Okay?
Yep.
So that brings us to 4.1, review, discuss special town meeting warrant articles and sign special town meeting warrant.
Okay, can you just give me 1 minute to write things down?
I think Sabrina's here now.
She is.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
We can bring her in a little bit.
Oh, I didn't know.
I thought she wasn't gonna be here till
She isn't
the
gonna be here till executive.
Okay, okay. For some reason,
Let's update my
Okay.
policy on 125.
Okay.
Motion wording I will need. All right,
Do you wanna go through reading the warrant articles?
I have, are these pretty good, Nelson?
They have not been vetted by town council
Okay.
yet, but it's the general framework of it, you know, so the exact language is still to be determined, but
Yep.
it's, you know,
When does this have to be posted?
2 weeks prior, which would bring us to September 11th. And
Okay, so we have time for town council review.
Yep, I spoke to Adam last Friday about it. He said if we get it to him late this week into the weekend, he'll be able to review and approve it like early to mid next week.
So, do you want me to just go through the ones that are here right now, Lori? And then, do you want me to add on the one that just came in today?
Yeah, yep,
Okay.
that one I didn't, this was as of yesterday afternoon, so. this
So,
one-
Do you have the one for today? I
Yeah.
haven't seen it yet.
it's in the SharePoint.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Article 1 is to see if the town will vote to hear the reports of boards, committees, or commissioners, committees or commissions, or take any other action in relation thereto. I don't know if anybody has a report, but we'll see. Article 2 would be to see if the town will vote to transfer property at Dudley Meadows to the Conservation Commission or take any other action in relation thereto. Zoning bylaws and adoption is 2/3 vote.
Did you wanna say anything, Monica, about that?
About
Oh, the Dudley Meadows is,
Dudley Meadows is the one, it's the Peter J. Drive.
Yep, yeah.
Common
Yeah.
land.
and that was brought to us by the
Yes.
conservation.
Mhm.
And just so you know, the order, you guys can switch it around. I don't think that this one, the order necessarily matters, because.
Yeah, there's not a ton of
Yeah.
them.
Let's
is-
finish and see.
Is someone gonna, who's gonna, do we wanna talk about who's gonna answer questions or be around for, or just keep going?
Well, the Conservation Commission needs to be here for Article 2.
Yeah.
And that's required in the charter.
Article 3, to see if the town will vote to adopt the MBTA Communities Act or take any other action in relation thereto. That's planning
Planning
board.
board.
And the public is the public meeting is March, no, sorry, September
15th.
15th. Six.
September 15th is.
The
6
public
o'clock.
hearing.
Yeah, 6 o'clock. Article 4, to see if the town will vote to add a single family to the multi-family overlay district or take any other action in relation thereto. That's planning
Mhm.
related to
And
MBTA.
that also has a public hearing, that's zoning, right?
For planning.
I think that's on
Planning.
planning board, and I think they're doing it the same night.
So it is a zoning article and it needs to be a hearing as such, yes, okay.
Article 5, to see if the town will vote to give the building inspector authority of the historic district or take any other action in relation thereto.
Oh, yes.
And who's gonna speak to that one? The building inspector?
I guess.
Yeah, I think so. I forgot to talk to Bob today about it, but
This-
I know there's a desire to give the building inspector this authority because it was kind of a blind spot.
So who?
So this
It
is
was
how
brought
parks
up- it
in
was-
Groton and Pepperell.
It was brought up by town council at the conservation committee meeting where
Oh, the zoning
he
board.
brought up
Yeah.
that the building inspector, per our bylaws, is not written into our bylaws as having oversight over the historic district. So he suggested that we do that because who else are we gonna have to do it?
Okay, so who is writing the article?
I will work with, Adam
Yeah.
on the language.
So this is being put forth by the Board of Selectmen?
I would, yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I think so, yeah. Because it's through town council's, suggestion. So yeah, that
Okay.
would be through select board.
All right. And Adam will be at our meeting, correct, on the 25th, at the special town meeting
Yes,
to speak? Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Sorry, just make myself a note, tax something. Okay. Article 6, to see if the town will vote to accept the provisions of Mass General Laws, Chapter 53, Section 18B, which requires the town to print certain information relating to each question that shall appear on the town ballot, as further specified in said statute, and not later than 7 days before an election at which such question shall be submitted to the voters, send such information to each household wherein a person whose name appears on the current voting list for the town resides, or to take any other action in relation thereto.
So this is a townwide mailing of the ballot?
It would be,
We've had discussions before about, how when we have, if you get a
Right.
state ballot and it gives you, if you vote yes, it's this, and if you vote no, it's this. You can do that locally, but you have to have it has to be in your bylaws or whatever to be able to do it.
Okay, so send such
You have to adopt
information to
something.
each household. So this is a townwide mailing.
If we wanted, or even just a posting. I don't think it's just for mailing.
No, you would
No,
have to
you
mail it.
have to mail.
Oh, you have to mail it.
And
So this might require funding.
it would.
And so we will put a funding article, if this passes, put a funding article in the next special town meeting to set funds aside for this
Yeah, I think you would have
in a
to
special article.
account for the expenses.
I don't know if Harrison was popping, but I believe we're required to do this if it's
Yeah, and you have
I think
to,
we
and you
have
have
to.
to, you would have to present both sides. So
Yeah.
I think.
And we
in a-
couldn't like skip an election, we have to do it for everyone,
Correct.
In which there is a question.
Yeah.
Correct.
not general, seats of election, but any ballot question.
Right.
So, there are definitely, advantages to doing this. You're sort of presenting additional information to the voters. There's an added cost. There's also the opposing side that we need to give equal, opportunity for to present their case. That argument would have to, there's a limited amount of space that you can actually put on the mailer as well as the ballot. And, the language has to be vetted typically through town council. So you can't be, saying anything derogatory or I guess unfalse or false.
Informational only.
Yeah, so it's pretty prescribed what you can or can't say. I guess.
Well, there's nothing bad about that.
No, there isn't. But someone has to be the moderator of that, and it also becomes an issue if, say, there's a very sensitive issue, but you have 10 different people with 10 different opinions. How do you distill that into something that they all agree to? So that's something that typically town council would be the referee, so to speak. But that becomes very complicated. Now you're using town council services for them to play referee with these opposing arguments. How do you get everyone? How do you distill all that into roughly?
Do you really
150?
need to put arguments?
Yeah, no,
No,
you just
it-
would list facts.
Well, it's for or against. So there's many ways you can
I don't
present
know
it.
about
I
that.
don't know.
You can present
If I
them.
look at the state ballot and it says, there's no opinions in it. It says, if you vote yes, this is what happens. If you vote no, this is what happens. That's the end of the story. You're not having an argument. It's just what it is.
No,
And-
but I've spoken to Adam as well as neighboring communities, TA, and again, there are benefits to doing it, but there's the flip side as well. So
I think you're right, Laurie. The way the state has done it is if yes, this is what happens, if no, so that those questions that kind of have that twist on it, and you're not quite sure, that spells it out.
Yeah, so that spells it out.
Right.
That's really all that I was looking for, to be able to, when we have something going on locally, that it be that. I mean, people can look into things more, you know, do more research if they want, or get opinions from their neighbors or Facebook, whatever. But if you vote this, yes, this is what happens, and if you vote no, this is what happens. I don't see the point of getting into he said, she said, or somebody doesn't think that way. If this is what they're asking you to vote on, and this is what happens, we don't want to get any further than that.
I'm just pointing
Well,
out.
that's my thought.
I'm just pointing out both sides because I've spoken to folks about it, and you know, it's not a.
I can see the
It's
times where
not a
it would not
slam
be
dunk.
as cut and dry, like, perfect example would be the last vote. You know, if the override passes, this what happens, if the override doesn't pass, this what happens.
But it would be only addressed with respect to the tax rate,
Yes.
not anything else.
Exactly. So I can understand Nelson's point of that could maybe.
Kathy?
We've had before, when we've had override votes, especially because that's a hot
Yeah,
topic, we used to get all kinds of calls down there. So what does this mean? Do I vote yes? Do I vote no? And you have to kind of explain it. Well, if you want it to pass, this is what you're going to get. It's very difficult because you're not.
Yeah, you can't give it one side or the other.
Right, right.
The library does it all the time, because everybody asks them the same.
Oh, yeah, they would
Informational.
be, right. So it would be very beneficial, as you know, with the state ballot, how
That's what I
beneficial
think.
votes are.
I think it would be
I
beneficial, I
just-
do see,
factual,
Just
not
facts.
opinionated, just
I-
facts.
I see the benefit, I am also acknowledging that I think there'll be times where people will not be satisfied with how it's written, to Nelson's point.
Yeah.
But that's,
Okay.
But if you're just stating the facts,
I'm.
and
My point is, we need to make sure we have the funds to be
Yes.
able to do this, if in fact we are going to do it. So, which right now I'm not so sure we have that in our budget. And so if it does pass, we would need to put a special article on to pay for these mailings.
Yep, and they would be ongoing because
Yes.
once you adopt this, you can't pick and choose which one.
Right, and we would have to refill that special article
So,
every time it ran out.
Nelson,
of
I
money.
guess this you and Adam will address questions on. I'm just trying to see like who would make sure whoever would be in charge of the discussion is there.
probably Adam. I think
Yeah,
Adam.
well, yeah, and I can speak to it too, but I did speak to Adam at length about this particular adoption. In fact, this was, this language was directly from him because he's working with a community that I think recently adopted it within the last couple of years.
Okay.
So then I guess the last one is
The citizens petition.
citizens petition. Let me just pull it up real quick, sorry.
Oh, that's not on here.
Yep, I have it here though, I just need to,
It's in the SharePoint.
Yeah, this came in this morning, and
just need to
my draft,
magnify it, because it's really, really small.
my draft
Okay.
was from yesterday.
So this is citizen petition to see if the town will vote to amend 145-26 residential districts, amend text at the end of 145-26B14, notwithstanding any provision of this bylaw to the contrary, an apartment multifamily building as defined by 145.5 is prohibited on the following parcels: Assessors Map 10, Parcel 52, Blood Road, and Assessors Map 10, Parcel 70, West Elm Street. Amend 145-47, Open Space Multifamily Development, OSMD. Insert at the end of 145-47B, the provisions of this section shall not apply to Assessors Map 10, Parcel 52, and Assessors Map 10, Parcel 70, or take any other action in relation thereto. So Adam has not reviewed that yet, correct?
He has not. So, you know, since it's a citizen's petition, we do have to publish it verbatim, you know, in terms of the legality and whether it can be done or not, Adam can have an opinion on it, and he will speak about it during the special town meeting. But at the moment, we do have to publish it as is.
Okay.
And I believe,
I have an opinion on it.
let me see here. I think the town clerk's office is still certifying.
No, they
They
certified,
did,
we
okay.
got something,
Oh,
there are
just got that.
107
Yeah.
signatures
Yep.
for it.
Okay, so it is valid, so,
Did you say it was West Elm Street?
It's the two affordable housing trust parcels, the ones that were voted at town meeting for affordable housing, recommended by the Town Properties Committee 3 years ago. And because the Housing Trust, and I'm the Board of Selectmen representative on the Housing Trust, we now have a concept for an affordable housing. After going through 3 years of getting the property, MRPC reviewing it to tell us what was possible, and then working with Mass Housing Partnership for where in town we could provide this. And this isn't Section 8 housing. We have a concept. We lost the funding that we were going to use for J.M. Goldson, so we have to wait until we sell for one of our properties for more funding to go out to the community. But so there's a concept for affordable housing on those 7 acres. It is the only place amongst the properties that the Affordable Housing Trust was given by the town that has no environmental constraints. And so it is the best piece of property for development. And it is the town meeting body that voted for it to have affordable housing. So, yeah. So I'm not sure, I'm not sure where we're going as a town. We obviously can't afford an override, don't want an override. We do a lot of lip service about people in town wanting to downsize. We have 55 and over apartments, but they're all market rate. You can't sell your house and purchase one of those and gain anything. They're in the 450,000 to do it. So there isn't anywhere for a senior citizen to give up their home and downsize. Maybe if they're Section 8, they can, if your income is so low, you can get on the list for Section 8 housing, perhaps somewhere in the state. You could, but not within towns. And that was the intent. It's also for workforce, for people who are teachers, firefighters, municipal workers in town. That's the purpose of this housing. But, it's kind of like we can't afford it, but we don't want this sort of housing either. We don't want people to be able to afford it. So I believe that these are here merely to stop the development.
Is that development single family or is it multifamily?
Well, it's not defined yet. We have a concept.
It's just.
And so it's, right now, 10 houses that look like colonials, but have 2 townhouses and then a single-story apartment. That would be handicapped accessible.
And all of that would add to the tax base,
But
not necessarily encompass the schools, or encumber, I should say, the schools.
I suppose if we can't do a multifamily, we could go 55 and over for the whole thing and put 28 units on there, 4 per acre. We could do that. We could go 40B. There's that option. So
Guess we'll see what the town.
I guess we'll see what the town wants. The town that voted to put affordable housing here in May of 2022 could now vote not to put affordable housing there, or at least that type. We don't have to stay within it. we were attempting to stay within the zoning of the town.
Right,
But we can
But you could
still
do
go
40B.
outside. We were looking at it as family housing and a mix. We
A mix.
wanted a mix.
Mhm.
We didn't want it to be just family or just senior. We could go just senior, or we could go 40B and put up, I don't know, there's a picture in the MBTA, 92 units in 6 acres in one of those huge, we could do that.
You wouldn't do that, I know you wouldn't.
I don't know. Because the MBTA communities, although it's density, it does not at all address affordability. It's all market rate.
Right,
And the planning board voted not to have any affordable component. The trust had asked for a 10% component,
yeah,
as we have asked for every 55 and over development in town, and it has been not approved by the planning board. So you have to wonder. That's my soapbox for the day. It's always 40B.
okay. All right, so that's the warrant. And we wouldn't be signing it until Adam reviews anyway.
Correct, yeah, so
Do
you,
we need a motion to sign out of session? after
yeah,
Adam reviews
you
it?
would, the motion would be, to sign out a session contingent on, town council review.
I make a motion that we sign the special town meeting warrant for September 25th out of session pending review by town council.
Sounds good.
Second. That's a second? Okay, any further
Second.
discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. 4.2. Surplus request fire department equipment. Nelson?
We received a request from the fire chief to surplus a 2015 generator as well as a 1994 ambulance. I know the surplus policy does state the department head should include an estimated value, and that's not included here. But all indicate and points to both items each being less than 10,000. I think the ambulance.
Well, 1994
Yeah,
and
that's
215,
30 years
10-year-old.
old.
Yeah, so I doubt those things really have much of any value. You know, the ambulance, maybe 1,000 at most, given it's 30 years old. And the generator might have a little bit more value, but again, I think.
Bad engine,
Yeah.
though.
Bad engine.
Bad engine.
So usually when department heads surplus things, there's not much useful life.
It would cost more to do whatever.
Yeah.
I guess in the future, I would like to see an estimate on these. But I could agree if it's, if we just check and get a value on here.
Okay.
That these aren't, I don't know, it's a policy.
Saleable? They're not saleable?
I don't know if they are or not.
Well, there's some value to it, not much. Someone will probably just buy it either for parts or for the scrap metal. That's why, I don't think there's much value to it at all. We're just trying to get rid of it.
Make a motion.
Mhm.
Move that the select board vote to surplus the equipment brought forward by the fire chief on, what does it say? Consisting of a gas-fired generator and a 1994 Chevy ambulance.
Second,
Okay, and did you wanna
Amend
ask
that.
for an estimated value?
I think I would like an estimate of the value.
Pending estimated value from the fire chief.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay.
Is there like a value over which we should, I don't know you said 10,000?
Yeah, the policy is for
For
under
less
10.
than 10,000.
So,
So I'm assuming these are.
Assuming less than 10,000.
Yeah.
That should be in the motion probably.
I'm just assuming that it's less than 10,000, you need to.
Yeah.
Put in there.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schiffern, aye. 4.3, surplus request highway department vehicles.
Yeah, we have, over half a dozen old vehicles just sitting, in the highway department yard. Some of these are 30, the oldest one is 30 years old. And some of these are 20 years old. Not much value to it. They're all broken, rotting. Just hoping to find someone that will take it away for probably just a few $100, scrap metal, maybe some spare parts in there. So looking to clean up the space over in the highway department.
Solar radar feedback signboard.
That one's broken. Because we have the other ones, right?
I wondered why we only had 2, actually.
They're very expensive, and I think we had, can't remember, we had gotten a
I
grant.
think the state must be using theirs
To do what?
on 13.
The state has their own, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
their own. They're
Yeah.
bigger than ours.
I guess, again, I would like to see an estimated
Yeah.
value on these. I haven't done these in a long time, but I know when I was a selectman in the past, everything that came in surplus came in with an estimated value, even if it was 0 or, whatever. So I don't mind voting for these, provided that we get an estimated value on these items.
Okay.
I make a motion that we vote to surplus the Townsend Highway Department surplus equipment as laid out by the highway superintendent pending review of estimated value.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schiffern, aye. Okay. Do you have the 4.4 surplus request from the cemetery and parks department vehicles?
Yep.
Yes, it's on SharePoint. And we have a copy of it too.
Oh, same thing.
Would you like a motion?
Yeah, same way.
I move that we vote to surplus the equipment as requested by the Cemetery and Parks Department pending review of estimated value.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schiffern, aye. 4.5. Uncollectible ambulance receipts write-off request fire department.
Would you like me to read this?
Yeah, read it.
It's from the fire chief. Dear Honorable Select Board, as Chief of Department, I request that the town write off and dispose of the uncollectible balance of $158,457.31 from medical services provided as uncollectible. The reason for these uncollectible amounts are result for services rendered and to those who receive services either not having insurance, unable to pay, residual amounts from insurance companies, hardships, claims, or deceased patients. This settled number began at $287,768.06 and was consolidated, negotiated, and collected an additional $129,311.29, leaving an uncollectible balance of $158,457.31. Unfortunately, I am unable or willing to provide the names and reasons for each of these patients because of healthcare privacy regulations and dignity. A written response to myself so that I may follow up with our accounting services to clean our accounts would be appreciated.
Is there a motion?
I move that we accept the request for the ambulance receipts write-off as read.
And provide a written
And
response.
provide a
to the
written
fire
response to
chief.
fire chief for $158,000, $457.31.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Or any discussion? No. Hearing none, roll call.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schiffern, aye. Thank you. 4.6, discussion and setting of dates for West Townsend Reading Room closures. There are no docs on this.
So the West Townsend Reading Room, the way the septic system is set up, the infrastructure going outside to the leaching field is actually above ground. So what that means is during the winter time when it gets very cold, since those pipes are essentially, not under dirt or anything, once it gets exposed to the elements, they start to freeze. And once it freezes, whoever's inside the building, whether they're using the bathroom or, the sink, inevitably that backs up into the house because the pipes are exposed to the elements. We had that happen. It happened this winter time, and as a result, we had to essentially close the West Townsend Reading Room for most of the winter. Now, the long-term solution is to redo the septic and how the pipes are coming out of the house, but that is a very expensive project. Probably upwards of $20,000-$30,000 would be my guess. We can certainly discuss at a later time whether we want to fund that project, but in the meantime, we should agree on when we should just close down the West Townsend Reading Room. And talking to facilities, we're thinking the end of November. Because once December hits, all bets are off. Now, it could be a mild winter, and I remember Christmas being in the 60s or 70s. But without obviously knowing the forecast, we should err on the side of caution and close it down, end of November. Plus, that gives folks who do rent it on a regular basis time to find other arrangements. So I'm recommending that we officially stop taking reservations for the West Townsend Reading Room in November.
Until?
End of March.
April 1st-ish, probably.
I mean, you could say March 1st for now and revisit, as we get closer. I think that's a fair.
I wouldn't want to book any dates though in March.
Well, right, yeah, correct. As we get closer, or you can push it till April 1st.
Your thoughts?
If you want to be more cautious.
April 1st
I would
is
do
easy.
December 1 to April 1.
Okay.
I make a motion that we close the West Townsend Reading Room for the winter, starting on December 1st, 2025, and reopening on April 1st, 2026.
I will second that.
Any discussion?
I guess just making sure that someone's in there to make sure pipes aren't freezing, that it's checked on a regular basis,
Yeah,
even
I
though
think
it's
they
not
should
being
be
used.
Winterized. I think it should be winterized.
Well, that would be wonderful too, if that's a possibility, but
Yeah, it should be a possibility.
It may or may not be. I'm not 100% sure. I'll talk to facilities, and if it can't be winterized, we'll make sure. Well, it is on a thermostat, so we would keep the temperature,
It's the outside the pipe that gets frozen.
and
Not the
outside,
inside.
but still.
I'll make sure that facilities, keeps an eye on it on a regular basis.
I would ask if it would be worth it to winterize it and not run the heat.
I can do that. Yep.
Okay,
Save the money.
that's what we do. That's what a lot of people do.
Right.
If they're,
I don't know what that entails.
it's a plumber's job.
Okay,
Pretty straightforward.
They do the winterizing. I don't know, Rob may know about it,
okay.
I'll talk
just
to
find out.
I'll talk to the facilities to see if it's able to be winterized, and if it is, weigh the cost benefit with how much it would cost to winterize.
versus the cost of heat.
Right.
What about, is there any possibility of grant funding for the septic? Or the type of building that it is?
I mean, it is a historic building, so I can have Karen see if there's any grant possibilities available. So,
Because I think it's pretty old. I mean, the system, I think, is pretty old.
yeah.
Probably wouldn't pass Title V.
But please do look into that, because if there is a possibility of getting a grant, that would be great. I think it's sandy soil and town water, so it won't be that bad. But it may be around 20. I don't think it will be more than that. Might be 18. You only have one bathroom, so it's not gonna be a big system to begin with there. It's not like you're housing people, so. Okay, 4.7.
We didn't vote. That was discussion.
That was discussion. Okay. Roll call.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schiff and I. Thank you. 4.7, discussion of postage machine contract renewal proposal. Nelson.
So the current company that we contract out for our postage machine downstairs, Quadient, reached out to us. I guess our contract is expiring end of February, I believe, and they're looking to start discussions about what the renewal might look like.
This says valid until November 27th, 2025.
That's the proposal.
Their proposal.
Yeah. Currently, we took a look at what features they are providing to us, see if we can save any money here and there. Currently, we're paying $224.99 a month. And according to the proposal,
What are we paying right now? I'm sorry.
About $12 more.
$224.99 per month.
Yeah.
And depending whether we do a 60-month, 48-month, or 36-month lease, I think we're going to see some savings, except for the 36-month option. It's more. So we went with
60 is 189.
Yep. So that's, I would say some, what's that, $35 a month.
How long was the previous contract? Was it also 60 months or was it?
It was 63 months. So I think they did that just to round it out. So it looks like their 60-month proposal is the most advantageous price-wise for us. My only concern is typically contracts are 3 years long. Anything beyond that, I thought required like a special dispensation.
It does. It requires a town meeting vote. So,
I'm not
If they
sure.
want to come back with a 36-month.
whose budget is this under? Just out of curiosity.
Well, the
The treasurer,
is like
thank you.
$50 more a
Not
month.
And did they take this into consideration? Because that was prior to, who knew about this? That this was prior to, I never approved a postal machine lease during the time that I was a selectman that I remember. And that would have been 5 years ago.
This was approved, I'm looking at the current one that's, it was Anna Noyes that,
Anna Noyes, okay.
so it looked like it was either August or September. I see two different dates here of 2020.
Yeah, Anna left pretty much right around the same time that I came in as a selectman.
Did we sign a 5-year contract without?
Yeah, it was 60 months.
Without a town meeting vote?
Must have been.
That's good to know.
12 is 60.
But who signs this? Is it the Board of Selectmen or is it the treasurer? Who signed that? Who
This
signed that?
was, she signed this. so
Anna signed
The
it.
treasurer
Yeah.
signed it.
I don't ever remember seeing it, but I would have been a brand new selectman.
Is that because the
I know.
value, we don't have to, because it's per,
I don't.
I did believe they're on a state contract. But for me, it's the length of the
Yeah.
contract.
Time.
I mean, clearly 60 months is the cheaper option.
they don't even have, oh, they do have
They
a
have a
36.
36-month.
They do,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, it's
more.
$50
I think check
more a
on
month.
that. You know, we have until November, so let's just do a little bit more checking.
See what, especially if last
And-
time it was not.
And
How-
make sure that the treasurer has this in the budget. Because I don't think this is anything we even talked about when we were doing budgeting for this year. When the question was asked, what does that cover? I don't ever remember the postage machine being mentioned, ever. So someone's paying for it, and it's the treasurer's office, according to Kathy. So,
Treasurer's office pays for it in
I
their
believe
budget?
so, because when I used to, send out notices to everybody, I had to pay into the treasurer's office out of my account into their account to
cover the postage machine. That makes sense.
It actually is part of the treasurer's budget
Oh, perfect.
submittal. It
And how
says here.
much is in there? How much is she budgeting? It looks like you have a breakdown there.
1670.
What? 1,670?
Mhm. But
That is a
That's
little
not-
under 180.
that's not enough.
One, I got
It's
one
not enough
39.
even for the
That's per year?
5-year.
1670,
Yeah.
you said,
Yeah.
divided by 12. Yeah, that's 140.
Let me just see how they've done in the past on that.
Maybe that was the old lease was 140?
No, it said 2.
25.
Huh,
Um,
I think this,
I'll get clarification from the treasurer's office regarding that,
Okay.
but it looks
Yeah.
like it is part of their budget.
well, that's good, but it's not high enough, and we have everybody cut bare bones. And
And-
they were planning 140. We don't have enough to cover this.
Yeah.
And we can't do a 5-year, probably. Unless it's just the treasurer that signs it, I don't know.
Which means an additional 1,200, because it's about $100 more a month than what they're budgeting.
They also have something under communications, and also postage is part of that too. So, which makes sense because you're paying for postage. So it must be lumped in here somehow, but I see it in two separate lines.
Okay.
Equipment rental, which is the machine itself, and then communications, which is the actual postage that you pay for. So it's kind of in two sections of their budget.
How much is it with those two together?
Well, so equipment rental is 1670, and then communications is pretty hefty. It's 28,335. So that's
Okay,
anything from the postage to Boston Globe,
Printing.
which is for advertising,
uh,
Kelly and Ryan, which are the tax bill
right,
mailings. They're
okay,
the
so
ones-
it's not itemized for the postal machine. Okay,
Well, it's baked in here,
Right.
under the comment section for the treasurer's budget.
okay.
So it is accounted for in here.
Yeah, but we don't know how much it is because it's all within.
I'll look into that a little bit further and also to see if there's a way of signing a 48 or 60-month contract. The savings is substantial, so I'll certainly
Can you report back at the 9:25 meeting
will do.
on that?
Yeah, okay. So we're not done with the postal machine.
No, you're not.
Never done.
4.9, because we already did 4.8. Vote on town administrator contract wage adjustment.
So with the override not passing, I've voluntarily decided to revert back to my FY '25 rate. I was scheduled to get a 5% raise this year, which I did end up getting on July 1st, per the contract. But effective August 31st, I will revert back to my FY '25 rate, and I think that will save the town about $5,200. So anything I can do to help with the budget crisis, I'm happy to do so. So at the executive session last time, we discussed it. This amendment was drafted by Town Labor Council. So we're in an open session. We're just here to talk about it, discuss it, and vote on it.
Looks pretty straightforward.
The only thing I have is the agreement is made this blank day of August. Are we backdating to the 19th on this? When I read it, I thought, oh, does it have to say September?
Well, when Jane drafted it, was
It was August.
Yeah.
I
So
know,
Friday.
and we did discuss it at the
Yeah.
August meeting.
August
Yeah.
executive session. So
But yeah, in terms of I guess actually signing it, it probably
Should
That
say
should-
September.
September 2nd.
okay.
So do you want a motion to sign the
Then-
First Amendment to the contract of employment between the town of Townsend, Massachusetts and the town administrator, subject to clarifications on date of execution?
And to be signed
To be
outside
signed
of
outside
session.
of session?
Okay, is there a second?
I will second that.
Any further discussion?
No.
No. Okay. Roll call.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schiffern, aye. Thank you, Nelson.
Thank you, Nelson.
Okay, number 10, there are no dots. Okay, that's my report though. So, the volunteer. God, I don't even know.
Horrible name I came up with in
I
like
know.
60 seconds. We're gonna live with for the next.
What is that
Volunteer
sheet? Wait a minute.
bylaw, something
No, it's a
committee.
volunteer board coordination committee.
That's it.
So sorry.
All right. I have been sworn in per your request, the board's request. Harrison doesn't have to be sworn in, and James Dorian was sworn in.
Oh, good.
Harrison has reached out to me and has posted a meeting for September 4th at 5:15. It's in person only in meeting room 2. Downstairs, okay, I'm saying town council is gonna be here, so, okay. And we're gonna review the entire process, review all the forms for volunteer reappointment, posting. There seems to be some issues coming up a great deal with posting and not being able to appoint because the posting was wrong. So all the processes of volunteering will be reviewed. And hopefully, he's also has on here discussion of open meeting law posting process. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, we're gonna start that on Thursday.
The other thing I wanted as part of it was training of volunteers who come in. A lot of, you volunteer and you don't know anything about the board that you're on. And so I wanted a training component as part of it to review
What they should be reviewing, or the chair.
what's suggested, like for conservation, those courses. For planning board, those courses. For FinCom, those courses. For, most of them are through the professional organizations. Like MACC,
Yeah.
there's a whole certification process for conservation commissioners. So I would just want that to
It's
be
probably
part
not
of
every
the
single
review.
board.
And it might not be the first thing that you do, but, you know, go through the forms and then look at the trainings that are available for each of the boards. So that people, when they are
Sworn in, they
they
could get that?
could
piece
get
of
whatever
paper in
information is available,
relation
to-
to that.
let them know. right?
Okay, all right, good idea.
And, the other thing is, I want a timeline. I would like to know about when all of this will be brought back to the, like, how frequently will there be reports back to the select board?
Every meeting. Every meeting.
Okay, all right. So,
Because one of the things I said was, I'm not looking for this to be like a lifetime thing.
no,
This is gonna be
no.
a task force to get a task completed
Okay,
and off the ground.
we're on the same page.
Oh, I have enough meetings. I just think that we know what we're supposed to do, and, Harrison certainly has a lot of experience in the clerk's office to know what comes in wrong, and what could be helped. I don't know if it's on this list because they didn't communicate that with me, but I know that, there were a couple of department heads that had some, suggestions
Good. That's
too,
good.
so
Yeah,
we'll find out.
excellent.
We'll work on it, we'll get it done.
Okay, good.
And we're still looking for volunteers while we're on the subject, but we're gonna make the process easier for everyone. And Harrison is on. Harrison, did you have, anything to add to what I just said?
No, nothing in particular. We're gonna just verify if it's gonna be 5:15 or 5:30, but we'll be meeting for our first.
It'll be, I'm glad you're on. It'll be at 5:15 because, someone switched their time slot with me.
Perfect. All right,
Which
sounds like a plan.
We're all set. Okay, that was good that he was on. Now he knows it. 4.11, discussion of renewal of TESA lease.
So I think
That's here.
the TESA lease expires, September 30th, of this year, with, the ability to extend the lease for additional 3 years. There's 2 of those 3-year terms. Are you able to, do you have to do each 3-year as they come up, or can you do all 2?
When I was on the board when this was put into place, we expected it would be every 3 year.
Okay.
You know, that it would be brought back
Okay.
and
So-
reviewed if need be, you know.
So these are the
So,
separate.
and Selena is here, the vice president of TESA.
Would you
So-
like to come to the table?
I requested that this be put on because I knew when this lease was put into play. And
And
so
we
I knew
didn't.
it was coming up. And so I just wanted the board to be aware of the process of what needed to be done. So, and it does say in the lease that
4th of October.
and that it would be the board would provide the landlord with written notice of the tenant may extend the lease for 2 additional on the same terms and conditions by providing the landlord with written notice of the same no later than 60 days before the expiration of the initial term. But the term is funky in this, because if I look at the term, it's through October of 2022 through March of 2025, which has already passed. So, but I wasn't thinking that when I just knew it was October that we had done it because I remember things like this,
Okay.
no other reason. And so I assumed it was October, and I just wanted to provide notice, make you guys aware and provide notice to TESA that we'll be looking for that. So,
Yeah, so we're working on a letter to request renewal. I had hoped to bring it tonight, but we're not quite. One of board members, executive board members is on vacation right now. So the thing with the term, it says that it's a 3-year lease that was signed in October. So
Not sure why.
we're not sure why
It was
It
March.
says March
it
here.
says March.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that.
I do know
expected
I
that-
think it was an error, perhaps.
It might have to do with the species habitat out there.
conservation.
or-
I don't
Element.
think so.
I don't know why. It could just be that we missed it when we did it
So
before.
I do know that when the 2022 lease was being worked on, we had gotten like 1-month extensions
Yes,
because there was a lot of back and forth and
right.
such. So I'm wondering if that
It
date
got
was in
March to
there.
October. It was
And
supposed
it
to be
just-
March and it wound up being signed in October.
It could have been.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I wasn't
It could
on the
be.
board
I was
then.
on the board and I remember all the 1-year extensions. I was on the select board, not the TASA board. And I remember a lot of 1-year extensions and we went back and forth because TASA provided us with a sample lease and we edited it and it went back and forth. It was a collaborative effort to put this together. And we knew at the time that TASA was interested in expanding the fields and how do we do that? So anyway, I just knew that the lease was up and I expected it to be the end, October.
Yeah, and
That's what I
also,
expected it.
so did TASA because
So it kind of sounds like the lease is technically terminated right now.
If you go by this, yes, but that's not the case.
Obviously,
I don't
that's
think
not our
anybody's
intention.
operating
No, it's not.
with that. So anyway,
Would we consider then going like for the new one after your board writes the letter
yeah,
to, October 1st of 25 to 28?
yes, and we should make it October, so we need to
Yes.
change.
Yeah.
Change this. I probably just got missed in all the iterations when we accepted changes. That's all I can figure.
Do you think you'll be ready to come to our next meeting on the 25th?
yes,
But she could just send a letter, right?
yeah, I was planning on,
Yeah,
Or
emailing that
before, and
letter
then
to
we'll address it
Sabrina.
on the 25th?
We could either address it on the 25th or if we have a meeting on the 30th, which is what I have on my calendar, but let me see where our next one is after that. I'm just thinking that we should keep the 25th as low as possible. I also have one on the 7th of October. So I had select board.
I think we were debating that at the time. I won't be here for the 7th, so
Yeah, so maybe that's why we did the 30th.
Are you here for this one? Oh, you're not here on the
I'm not
7th?
here on the 7th.
Okay,
So I think that's why we said the 30th.
okay.
Maybe we can talk about that at the end.
Yeah, we can talk about it at the end, but anyway, okay. So either the 25th or the.
But we really only need a letter, Sabrina.
Yeah, so if you
Sorry.
get that.
Sabrina, it doesn't have to
Yeah.
come back.
And then is this lease in our file somewhere as a template?
Sabrina, I would say yes, because Sabrina put this in here. I did not provide the lease, Sabrina had,
Okay,
so.
all right.
TASA does have one question about the lease renewal, and that is with our field expansion that we're attempting to get off the ground, we're working on getting grant money to be able to afford to build the fields. And some of the grants we're being rejected because our lease term is small. So my question is there any opportunity to, instead of doing a 3-year lease, make it a 5 or a 10 or anything bigger?
It would have to go to town meeting. By charter, we can only do 3-year leases.
Okay,
And that's why we did the extension hoping to
Yes.
provide the concern that you had, hoping to mitigate that by making it the 3-year terms.
right.
But we could,
I mean, we could go to special town meeting after the fact if it's an obstacle to getting funding.
if it is, yeah, but
I think that would make sense. If
But
it's-
that was the solution that we put
I
in
would think the town would be
place
supportive
way
of
back.
that.
Are you sure about that?
I am sure. Because we worked with town council to do
Well,
this
maybe it
lease.
has to be a meeting vote, but you could do it for 100 years. Like
But it
HUD
has to be,
housing.
and that was done, well, I'm thinking of the fire station lease for the harbor
Uh-huh.
to the fire association. That, I forget how many years that lease is. That was at town meeting that was
Okay.
voted. Because we, by charter, can only give 3-year leases.
Well, too bad we didn't know before the special, because we could have gotten it on.
So, but there will be
Absolutely.
another special.
Yeah,
So,
So if you
we
want
could
us to
have
do
that on the
that,
fall town meeting, actually. Can, if we put it on the fall town meeting, obviously we have to go and
I
take a
want to
lease
talk
with
to
them.
town council about
Yeah.
this. I would like the opinion, because it was written the way it was because of town council.
Okay,
To have it 3-year leases, the initial and then 2 3-year extensions. Because I think you guys wanted 10 years at the time.
Yeah, probably because
I
at
think
that
that-
and
time,
that would have made sense.
Yes, but we couldn't do it. And in a timely manner, at least,
I'll see
we
if I
couldn't
can,
do it. So this was the solution,
Okay,
and that was the reason for it. So,
I can look into that.
yeah,
Yeah.
one of us
Yeah.
can on Thursday.
yeah,
on
you'll be
Thursday.
there
I
on
think
Thursday.
I-
I will not be there on Thursday.
Okay.
so.
Valerie,
I should have
wanna
time,
take that?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Valerie will look into what we can do about that.
and we will get you the letter. Our board member comes back tomorrow. We just need that person to review it and then probably later this
Yeah,
week.
just send it to,
Okay,
And,
then you want to come back.
yeah, because I think we added this improvements piece to it. There were these things that we added.
So
When
that
we
we
did
can
it
work
last
on the
time.
field expansion.
Exactly. So, you guys may want to read the lease and see if there's anything else that you think should be. So is that the only one that you know of right now for changes to the lease? Is looking at the time period?
Yeah, the time period and obviously the date. for when it is
Yes, for that.
due.
Who knew? I had no idea. So anyway.
Yeah, I saw that. October 4th. And I'm like, all right, it's due in October. I gotta
Right.
get writing that letter.
So, okay, all right.
thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for coming in.
4.12, update on the solid waste contract, enterprise fund accounting contract for consideration for pickup. I don't know what that means.
I don't think there's any contract in here. At least not the last time I looked.
We just got, an update from town council at 5:15, but it was more of, sort of their red line version of the Shaw's contract. So that town council has reviewed it, they provided their red line comments, so it's up to us to, to review those red lines and,
Then let's put it on the 25th, because I want time to look through it. What I'm looking for, and here is my question. I am looking for the ability to cancel the contract within a reasonable time period, a week or two. And/or Shaw's being willing to extend the period for funding, because I know that the Board of Health Chair had said, oh, the enterprise fund can go negative, and that's cool, but how do we pay Shaw's if there's no money in that contract, in that fund? Does that mean that Shaw's is okay with a bounce check or no check at all for a given period of time? And that's what I want to know. I also would like to see a revenue and expenses accounting with what the givens are. What are you expecting for, so we have an accounting in here. There was an accounting that was put in here, and
Yeah.
I was happy to see that. However, how do you, so we have 325,000 in there,
356.
something like that,
356.
356. Let me pull it up. I'm just going from memory on this. Descriptions, discussion.
And the total income, I don't know what the credit is there, but the total income for this period, July 1, but does that, from stabilization,
Here's the red
160.
line. Okay, so this must have just been put in.
362,291.
It only had the waste management stuff before. So in other words, if I say you're earning 2.5% interest, these are my givens, you're getting 20,000 per month from pay as you throw bags, these are my givens, and you're paying out 20K a month for disposal, whatever, tipping fees. If I work that on 1,800, I have the fund running out of money with paying off the Shaw's contract, and I haven't looked at this one for the amount, but I think it was roughly 40,000 going out. I have it running, the fund running out of money at the end of May. So I want to see what the revenue and expense breakdown is expected. If I were a business, I would have that.
Mm-hmm.
I would work these numbers. So if you go with my assumptions, and if my math is right, the enterprise fund is below zero in 9 months, maybe 10 at the most. And we need 12 months. So we either need to be able to cancel the contract when the town can no longer pay it, or Shaw's has to agree that they will wait for payment until that fund refills, which probably won't be until by September 1st, depending on when new amounts are collected. So I haven't seen that breakdown. So my question is, what happens when that goes negative? How is Shaw's being paid? How are the tipping fees being paid? It's a legitimate question, and I don't know that there's anybody that can answer it, because I haven't gotten an answer to it yet. And I can't seem to get a revenue and expenses breakdown from anyone on this. So, and my assumptions could be wrong. Maybe the tipping fees are only 10,000. I know that we can't, as a town, you can't put your money that's going to be short-term funds, which is what this is, in an aggressive account.
Right.
So you're looking at conservative interest rates that are big, and that money, although it came in, it's going to be going out continually. So how is that happening? And so consequently, I am not voting to sign a contract unless, without having an expenses and revenue breakdown, saying this is what we expect, and I would like to see that monthly to know that we're on track. Unless there is a way to cancel it pretty
I
quickly.
know there is. That is
Yeah,
there.
there's
Or I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I haven't looked at this red line thing. I know it was in there before, but,
14 days.
and that there is a grace
14
period for payment. That's the other way that it could be. You know, if there were a 90-day grace period for payment, then that would be cool, and we would be okay. But I don't know that there is.
I think it's 14 days for cancellation. It was pretty short.
And I can guarantee you that if Shaw's isn't getting paid, and if the fund is negative, the people that are going to be taking the heat is sitting right here, the select board. It won't be the Board of Health. Because ultimately, we're the ones that are responsible. So I have a concern. That's all. And I would love to see revenue and expense breakdown expected.
Well, hopefully we have something better at the next meeting.
Hopefully.
Thank you. Any
You're
further
welcome.
discussion on that?
Nope, let's put it on the next agenda to
Yeah.
review the contract, and maybe we'll have an
Income
answer
and
to that
expense.
question.
Income and expense. 413, discussion of events policy.
Sorry, I lost my,
Yeah, I'm looking for mine too.
it refreshed. SharePoint just kicked me out. Sorry.
Me too.
Glad it wasn't just me. Okay.
I think we're just kind of continuing the discussion, about, having an events policy in place, because there are certain blind spots, if you will, that, if some event were being held on private property, the town doesn't have much jurisdiction over it. The noise bylaw didn't pass, two town meetings ago, so we don't have that sort of as an enforcement tool. Other than that, if it's on private property, what else? At most,
I think at
an
that
alcohol
time,
license.
Do you remember, does anybody remember at town meeting when they brought the noise bylaw forward? It was, I think, because of planning board and all the complaints we were getting at planning board regarding the chickens and the roosters and dear Lynn, you were on. It was a lot of meetings where they were talking about chickens, and there was a lot of people on one of the public hearings for it. And anyway,
Well, if Townsend's right to farm, then,
it's right to farm.
so chickens don't count.
Yeah, but there is,
Other noise.
but it wasn't the chickens that was the noise bylaw. That was a separate bylaw
Oh,
that had to do
I
with,
just
and there
remember
is a bylaw about chickens, and your chickens have to be within your
yard.
so they can't be running across the street to someone else's yard.
Yep.
And
That did come out of that.
and so there's.
And the roosters.
So we
Or
already
5 a.m.
have a chicken bylaw. It's already there, and I don't remember what the modification was on that, but there was, someone wanted a modification on that bylaw, and that was not brought forward. The noise bylaw was brought forward by the bylaw review committee. That is to be seated every year that ends with a 3
3 or 5.
and an 8 or something,
3 and 8, yeah.
something
They
like that.
just met.
Yes, and
Last year.
over and done with, but it was, so this was 2024 annual town meeting that this came forward, because we were seated in 2023. And one of the idea was to make the lighting bylaw easier to understand. We still have a lighting bylaw. It's just that it's in 2 separate places. One is for residences or private property, one is for town property. And so the idea was to put them together and to better define what sort of lighting there was. The lighting bylaw is still in place, the one that is existed.
We just
But-
didn't change it.
We didn't change it. The one that Mike Brown had done as part of the committee, and the committee approved, and we had, public hearings on these. It was just to better define it, because people said they didn't know what that kind of lighting was. So Mike had all these pictures in it, and everybody, it was, I think, too complicated. But it didn't change the bylaw at all. It did bring them both together, so there weren't 2 separate ones. But it was to make it more clear, but anyway. So it didn't pass. We still have the lighting bylaw. It's the same thing, doesn't matter. The lighting bylaw didn't change the type of lighting you are supposed to have in town, is what I'm saying. The noise bylaw was a new thing. And that was because right now, if someone decides to run up and down the Squanicook River with an outboard motor and people are complaining about the noise, there's nothing that can be done. If people are using their backyard as a firing range on a consistent basis and the neighborhood doesn't like it, there's nothing that can be done. And it in my opinion, devolved into you're keeping us from shooting our guns, is what happened at the meeting. And I think that is ultimately why it failed. So right now, if there is noise at a private event, you can call the police and they can say, could you please, quiet down. You can call somebody and say, could you please quiet down? But there is no noise bylaw in town. So noise is good. It isn't enforceable. There's nothing enforceable that I know of.
Can that change?
Only if a bylaw passes. We'd have to bring the bylaw back. It's been a year and a half.
Wasn't there one that was 6 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night? Isn't there a noise bylaw?
I don't think there is.
A lot of,
We don't have
like,
quiet hours.
apartments. So a lot of apartments will have quiet hours, okay? So, and usually it's actually 7 AM to 11 on the weekends, and it may be 9 o'clock during the week.
You mean 7 PM? 7 PM. to
7
11.
AM in the morning to 9 PM or 11 PM.
At night, or quiet time?
No, that's
That's
I
when
meant
you
the
can
reverse.
make noise. Okay.
What was the late, 10 o'clock?
11. On
I'm
the
fortunate
weekend.
enough to live next to the wedding venue on Bloomberg.
Oh.
And that's not why I'm
11
here.
on the, did you want to speak to something else?
The enterprise fund, but I've just,
Oh,
because
okay.
I ran an enterprise fund for a lot of years.
Oh,
The enterprise fund that we just finished talking about?
I didn't know if I could speak. I don't wanna. That was
It's up
just.
to you, Madam Chair.
did you want to say something
No,
about
my biggest fear is the salaries that are gonna be attached
Salary?
to the enterprise fund.
There are salaries attached?
I think there already is one, yes, I sat on a board.
Oh, it's a stipend.
Oh.
And that's
to
part of
cover-
salary.
And why is that a concern?
It's a concern. I ran an enterprise fund. It was a much larger enterprise fund, but we had some serious issues in town with many departments wanting to jump on board, and we had supplements back in the 80s of 30 people that didn't work for the department that were getting some of this. It's just a warning. It's,
Okay.
we had a $35 million budget. We were very large enterprise, just the enterprise. We were a municipal light department. I was the director of operations and engineering, and it was something that gets out of control very quickly.
We didn't set up the enterprise fund. It's set up by the Board of Health and the town voted for it. So we're
Yes,
kind of out of the loop, but.
I'm not here saying that you shouldn't, I'm gonna watch as
Okay,
closely as I possibly can.
Please do. I am too.
I don't know my way around how to get the town, the budgets and to look and to learn.
you could put in a volunteer form for what interest you have. I'm sure we can find a place for you. Really?
Yes,
Okay,
I have a
all right.
first
We're gonna
knowledge.
fix our forms and make sure you get one.
Well, back to the noise bylaw.
My
So
wedding venue.
I think we should explore that and bring it back somehow. That's all, because I'm not
Can we just
certain
bring
that
it back on the annual town meeting
at
next
the
year?
annual town meeting.
Because
or
it's
a
already
special town
prepared.
meeting.
I think that if you,
Maybe review it. I
yeah,
would look
I
at
think we should-
enforcement.
well, enforcement's gonna be the police, because if you're on,
Well, it's not what is specified in the bylaw, as it was written and brought to town meeting a couple years ago, if I remember correctly.
who was the
I
enforcer?
believe it was the Board of Health, because noise is a health issue.
Oh,
Do you
right.
have it, Nelson? The previous one?
I mean, I have the one
Town
from
meeting
Post.
warrant.
2024.
Yeah,
I have it here.
Who was the enforcement on it?
and I think it was Board of Health, it's near the top. And it's usually like the first, the 1.1 in the bylaw.
Board of Health.
Yeah,
Is Board of
so,
Health.
it's just something that we might want to consider. Because right now there's nothing in place.
And Is Chief?
I think,
Chief-
yeah, no, I
Chief's not
saw
here.
him.
Wonder if that's a normal enforcement for, and I think,
I mean, do we want to ask Chief Sartell
Chief
what they do
Sartell?
about noise?
Would you talk to us about noise?
I'm not sure what you, what the question is.
Okay, well, more or less, referencing the venue and weddings and nighttime noise in the neighborhood. How late is late? I mean, I know some towns might have like not curfew time, but you know, when you go into quiet time and not disturbing other areas in a neighborhood.
Sure, I think Ms.
Residential.
Kell framed it right, that a bylaws, it would be necessary to really make it easy. Otherwise, it goes back to a reasonable standard and you're really kind of relying on almost a disorderly conduct type situation. It could be really ugly and really difficult for the men to kind of sort that out in the middle of a wedding venue, as opposed to having a town ordinance that makes it pretty clear. So my preference would be to have something clear that the patrol officers could look at, as opposed to this subjective standard of reasonableness that would be difficult at 11 o'clock at a Saturday night when two people are being married at a wedding reception. But difficult to say. I think it's a case by case thing for sure.
Thank you.
So I think that maybe we should look at bringing a bylaw back of some sort, and how do we want to go about doing that? And then what meeting do we put it on? Do we put it on a special town meeting, or do we put it on the annual town meeting? Do we pick up the one that's there and just look at the enforcement side of it? Or what do we do? I don't know the answer to this, but I think that without a bylaw of this sort,
maybe Nelson
kinda-
could work with the chief.
no paddle. We're up the creek.
Without question, it would be fabulous to have a bylaw.
Maybe you
So,
could work with the chief and see.
yep, so that would just be, I guess, one component of what an events policy would look like, which was kind of the original conversation piece was, an events policy is multiple things, not just noise. It could be traffic related. Parking, if people are parking on the side of the road when they're not supposed to. What else? We talked about more.
Would that be like events that take place at the common?
No,
I think it would apply to all events, right?
Well, I think with town property, the select board has a lot more jurisdiction over stipulations you would put on the person holding the event. You can say, you're only allowed to have the event during these hours in these boundaries.
But we wouldn't be able to
Town
go.
property.
We can't do that with town property, we can't.
Yeah.
With private property, no.
Right, and so
I
that's
mean,
why it becomes
well,
very difficult to come up with a policy that the select board of the town can actually enforce.
Is there other towns that have an events policy?
Town council said they have some examples that they can send to us, but I spoke to town council at length on Friday about this, and it's not an easy thing to tackle.
Yeah.
There's multiple pieces to it, and
It does sound a little like there's state laws and federal laws
Well,
around this, and not just.
No, they're not really. It's private property.
Yeah.
I mean, even when you look at parking along a roadway, you're not supposed to park on 119 along the road. Well, look at Cliffs. That's all illegal parking, but nobody enforces it in town. So parking along a road, I mean, at least the road I live on, people do park along it if they're visiting and you can't get in the person's driveway. It's pretty narrow, and we all expect it. But if there were going to be a huge wedding reception next door and it was parked all the way up and down the road, that's a different story. But there's nothing that prevents that.
No law about that.
Yeah, there's
That's the
nothing
way
that,
that's the way I.
yeah. So,
yeah.
so I think an events policy is gonna have to tackle multiple issues from multiple angles. So it's gonna be a very comprehensive policy that's gonna take some time to craft and figure out a way how to enforce it. So I think
Or
it's.
how to even write it so that it is enforceable.
Correct. So that is a pretty big undertaking that we would need to, start with. I'm not saying it's impossible. We can certainly start having more in-depth conversations with town council on how to start crafting it. But I think it's gonna take some time to actually, get together.
If that's the case, then could we get sample policies?
I was just gonna say,
To
there
look
must be
at.
other towns that have one that we could look at. And we could see if it fits the bill or it doesn't.
I think it's gonna be really hard for private property to come up with something that works. But we can look at what other places do, and I think we have to look at it as, is it enforceable?
Right. Correct.
So,
Because if it's not enforceable, to the chief's point, it's, whatever enforcement authority you provide to someone, if they have no documentation or bylaw or anything to fall back on, it's kind of, they don't really have any authority at that point.
So this was addressed at the May 7th, 2024
annual town meeting.
annual
Yeah,
town
the
meeting
noise
a
bylaw.
year
Yeah.
ago.
And it was voted down, and if I remember right, it was largely, everybody said, you wanna take our guns away, we won't be able to shoot our guns. And that wasn't what that was intended for, but that was how it came out.
Yeah, or some people, everybody interprets things differently.
So that's fine, but it also means that,
What are
if there's noise next door, there's noise next door, there you go.
Yeah.
It was Article 15. So I'll talk to town council for them to provide us with some examples of what other cities and towns have done.
And Nelson, just to be clear, this is outside of zoning.
It is outside of
Well, it was probably,
it's not a zoning
it was too
bylaw.
long.
Well, yeah, no, I'm just curious for that. I know there's some stuff going on right now and people are asking if there's going to be restrictions put on, and that is not part of that process. It would have to be
What,
on any zoning that's allowed or not allowed for an event center. That this would be separate from that.
well, there's not really an event center. That would be different. An event center would be different from, this is, if I have read everything correctly, this is an agricultural additional use, which
Yeah.
is different from having an event center that's zoned.
So my
into
point
town.
was, is that the events policy, like, we're trying to say this cannot be part of zoning. The zoning, because that's being
What can't be part of zoning?
noise, cars, all that type of stuff that's allowed or not allowed has to be part of a separate policy.
It's well, we're talking policy versus bylaw. A policy is just a policy
Yep.
that the selectmen put in place, only if someone comes to us.
Yeah.
Or a bylaw is something that the town, that governs the town.
So Adam's talking about, town council talking about events policy,
That is correct.
not a bylaw.
And a noise bylaw.
I just wanted clarification for anybody listening about what we could or could not do here.
There hasn't been an application for an event center that I know of, correct?
No.
Nothing went to the planning board for an event center. This is all being done under an agricultural use permit.
Mm-hmm.
Through the building department and the building commissioner,
Correct.
which I believe they did allow this
Use.
yeah, they call it occasional use.
This noise control thing, I don't know how that would have ever been enforced. I mean, it goes into the pitch of something.
Well, you do need to have a monitor to figure out whether or not, I mean, you have to, what's noise to one person is not necessarily noise to another person.
Yeah, right.
So you need something that's
I agree.
measurable. And town council did review that bylaw. And there were many back and forths to get that in place to bring to town meeting.
And that's fine, but who enforces that?
That's what I think we're
who
saying.
enforces
That's what we're
things?
saying. I would not, it's Board of Health according to that bylaw.
Oh. No, okay,
The one that failed. So are we gonna bring
We'll
back
keep
that
talking
noise
about it.
bylaw? Are we gonna bring that back, the noise bylaw?
At the special town meeting in 3 weeks?
no,
No.
Oh,
no.
That's way too fast.
no, I think we should bring it back, at
We'll
another
keep
town
it on the
meeting.
plate and see what we can do with it. You wanna try to do something for annual, we can.
If not
But
sooner,
I think it's
if we
gotta
have a fall town meeting, I say fall town meeting, but it may,
Usually December,
Yeah.
January.
so we could probably bring it up then.
The fact that you're talking about it is extremely encouraging to me.
Yeah, it is on our radar. We've, gotten some correspondence from abutters, not, okay with the idea of what they're proposing. And, I just want everyone to know that, the select board, we don't have a lot of jurisdiction over what they're proposing, but we're certainly coming up with, ways to, maybe get a better handle on things if it were to come to pass.
That's extremely encouraging, and I'll let the group in the neighborhood know that we have not had any luck with the Board of Health.
Well, I think they don't have much jurisdiction
Oh, I
themselves,
agree.
is what it
the
comes down
jurisdiction,
to.
But the
Yeah.
treatment was, it was,
Well, we hear you,
and I
okay?
very much appreciate it. Again, that's not why I'm here.
Yeah.
If it came to this, it's been the enterprise fund.
And we did get it.
I've got a lot of interest in town government, now that I'm out of it.
Oh, maybe we can get him back in it.
Only
As a
36
volunteer.
years.
Just like us. Okay, so we'll bring that back.
Mhm.
So that's both of them. 4.15, discussion CPA committee creation postings status. I can tell you that, all of this is on hold until we get the approval from the state.
Why is that? Because,
Oh, this is,
I just got the explanation from Sabrina today.
can you read it to me?
No, she just told me.
It's because this
Okay.
is a bylaw.
Well, it is a bylaw for the committee itself, but the town voted for CPA, which
To be
means,
established.
yes, which means the funding for it, et cetera, has to be dealt with. And there are 3 forms, a C1, a C2, and a C3 that need to be filled out, and they are due pretty soon, like October timeframe.
Yeah, but
And
is that
so-
through,
I
is
spoke
that
to-
through the assessor though?
I spoke to Vicky,
Yes.
it's,
Yeah.
she
Vicky.
said it's for that deadline is for FY 25, and we did not have CPA in FY 25.
We didn't
Correct.
But
So
now
that
it's-
deadline does not,
apply to
The
us.
current.
Next year it applies to
Correct.
us. Okay, well, it seems to me, and nobody's told me otherwise, that we could post and appoint pending, agreement from the AG's office. So in other words, it's, anything that is a bylaw, a zoning bylaw, a general bylaw, has to be approved by the
Yeah.
Attorney General. And
And it
that's
could take
typical
months.
for after annual town meeting. And it usually takes 3 months. Usually it's September, late August, September. Now, we were late because we had such a drawn out town meeting this year. So we're a little bit later than usual, but I would want that in place. And I hope that the assessors are doing the work they need to do to update the tax bills in FY26.
What did Vicky say?
Well, we didn't get into the specifics of how to implement them. I know they're working on it as we speak.
So, and it will be part of the assessment that comes in after the tax rate is set.
Sugar, she's planning for 26, she said. It'll
So
be effective
in
26.
January, those tax bills that come out should take care of,
Yeah,
okay,
Correct.
so,
I spoke to Adam about, starting a CPA committee. He erred on the side of caution. He suggested that we wait until it's officially been reviewed and approved by the AG's office before we start getting the committee together. Because if you get the committee together and the committee is starting to make decisions, someone possibly could come back and say, oh, this committee wasn't even valid yet because the AG's office did not approve of it. So to err on the side of caution and not have something like that potentially come up, he suggested just wait until it's been reviewed and approved by the AG's office before you start a committee and start making decisions.
so since we are so inundated with volunteers all the time, I mean, we just can't give them all work that they want to do. I don't have a problem with posting for those that may be interested in working on that. Some people may be very interested in the tax dollars and where it's going to go and what they're going to do. You just can't meet or do anything yet, but you can at least do the posting for a committee that we're definitely going to have.
appointments made
Well,
once the bylaws approved.
Well,
by the
I wouldn't
AG's
say the committee is definitely gonna happen because, I'm not the AG's office. I don't know how what lens they're viewing this through, so we can't just assume that it's a done deal, at least.
How does it work then if we're gonna be charged for CPA funds, yet we can't have a committee? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the AG's office may have a potential issue with how the warrant article was.
So timelines for this, if we start getting billed January 1st, right? I mean, you're realistically not looking at doing anything until
You won't get funds in, it'll be
Right.
a whole
Spring,
year
summer.
from then.
Yeah.
before we
So
ever
is there
see any
is there
money from
a
the
problem
state.
with waiting until the AG gets back in September? Probably, if usually that's where they get back, maybe October.
I think you're not gonna do anything until January myself. I really
Okay,
don't.
all right.
And we're definitely gonna need a committee to work on it. Harrison?
Yes, if I may, just add two small things. First, the comment about, the AG, can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Okay. The comment about the AG's review, I just wanted to add, the AG has the ability in its review or the AG's office to strike paragraphs, sentences, parts of sentences. So while the way it's written now might read for a certain composition, and you might post for a certain composition, that may very well be modified by how the AG, strikes or amends any portion of it. So that's something to be aware of. The other thing we may want to do, if we're going to be reviewing all of the volunteer board committee recruitment processes, we may want to wait until at least that work is done before we bring the new posting forward.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
a good point. That is a good point.
I guess my point was, I think we have time
Yeah.
and there'll be enough
Well,
time to
that'll
get a good group together.
Get you guys getting that volunteer stuff right on, because
I
I'm
will.
gonna be looking for it January
will.
1st. As
We
soon as
will.
that AG's
No, I
office.
think that'll be a
You'll
good
be,
time.
we'll be able to get it, up and running sooner. Yeah, probably,
I also have one other comment, sorry. The one other thing, the deadline right now is towards the end of October for the AG's review. That deadline can't go further than that without the approval and consent of the town through town council. So in the past, there have been extensions. We just saw January's bylaws took until mid last month to be approved. So it may be something where a conversation should be had with council about, whether or not extensions should be granted and under what conditions, because that's what slows it down. Because the AG has to respond within a certain time period. Several extensions were granted for the January 7 bylaws.
And look how long it took for the charter.
The thing about the CPA bylaw is it's pretty much a canned bylaw.
I know.
That it was pretty much taken from
What
the
state-
CPA committee for the state and what everybody takes. And then they tweak it
I
for the,
Yeah, I agree.
for what their makeup is. And so I don't expect to have, I understand that they can change things, but I don't expect to see that happen
Okay,
with
if
this
there's,
bylaw.
why don't we just keep it on the agenda and
Okay.
until we have an update kind of
Yeah.
thing,
Sounds
and
good.
then we're not forgetting it.
Yep.
416, discussion of DPW study committee. Another committee. Val, any comments?
Well, I read through this. I gave Nelson kind of my first pass at just
Okay.
an idea of next steps for this.
Do you wanna
um,
enlighten us?
Or Nelson.
I haven't had a chance to look at it. I was more focused on the report that the state had produced
Yeah.
back in 2016.
But, and mine was just kind of an even more abbreviated version of that with a little bit current. But it's basically, I mean, the way I look at this is, it's one of our primary goals. I think we have to get something going really quickly if we want it to be part of this budget cycle, because it's gonna involve restructuring, which will involve a town meeting vote.
Yes, it will require a town meeting vote, and I met with Nelson about this as
Yeah.
well. And I would like, the problem next fiscal year is that we don't have any free cash.
Yeah.
We have cut the budget to the point where there will be very little free cash unless we sell more town properties.
Or we have a really late winter.
Or we have a really light winter, but the
Yeah.
winter doesn't really affect it.
Yeah.
It means that we don't have a lot of free cash, which we won't, and with that, we better pray for a really light winter, because we won't have the money to pay
Right.
snow and ice, not this coming fiscal year, but the following one. Because we don't, our budget was pared down for expenses, and then the override didn't pass, and now we're paring down salaries. So, and I do not expect the school to come in with a 2.5% or 3% budget. And since they are 50% of our budget, easy, more than that, 60%
60% now.
of our budget, if they come in over that, it is a huge amount of money from the total municipal budget. And we have to figure out what departments we're not gonna have, how we're gonna restructure departments, what personnel we can do without. And rather than saying, we're gonna lay off you, and you, I would rather see an organizational structure that makes sense, that mirrors this. Even though it's 2016, there's a
Yeah.
lot in here that's exactly the same.
The way
As it
I
was
was
10
kind of
years
looking at it too is, it's kind of a two-step process. One is administration, and then one is more, what can you do this year with structure? And then once you've got that structure in place,
You have to, there could be
It's a 2-year
attrition,
process.
there's
Exactly.
to get because you have the people that you have, and then you have to figure out, well, what's it gonna be? And as people, it's attrition.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
As people go out, and how do you group people together? So we have people who have oysters licenses, for example, or, what is it called? The CDL licenses.
Yeah.
And we have them across many departments. Instead, why don't we just have a single set of people with these who can function in highway, or can function at cemetery and parks, who can function with facilities or whatever? That one set of people, because we are not going to be, the funds that we take in without an override is not going to sustain the people that we have currently.
Right.
And that's why I think we need to look at that. And 2 years might be too long. There was already a study committee. And it got, this just got dropped.
So-
They never even, as far as I know, considered this or
So-
went beyond this from DLS.
The way I was thinking about it, and I'm sure Nelson, it was highway, parks and cemetery, recycling, facilities maintenance. Those are the main
That's- yes.
facilities that we have, right?
Mhm.
And then the only thing I was possibly even lumping in there as a nice to have is all the town owned trails and stuff don't have any designated maintenance at this point in time.
There we go.
So you have those assets and for budgets, getting them.
And I agree, and I think we need to be looking at it now. So if we want,
So it'd be town administrator, parks and highway to start probably.
town administrator.
In terms of a group being put together to actually,
Yeah.
I don't
to
know if
talk
we need a
about it
separate,
and
we don't
figure
need a
out-
separate,
I think that's good.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. To have those 3 people look at it and determine, use this report.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I'm okay with that.
So I'm thinking it's actually, the TA, highway, facilities, cemetery,
facilities.
parks,
And cemetery. and
and possibly the, recycling center, possibly.
Just
think
because I know the
this
recycling center-
Should be under it.
that, I think parks, they use equipment from those
know
other departments.
cemetery and
Anybody
parks
that's
does
using
everything.
all the same equipment,
Yes.
even, or could combine equipment. And we're not experts in highway, parks and
Right.
cemeteries, so that's why we need these people
Yeah,
to.
I'm good with that. And to figure out how this structure, this is a January 2016 report from DLS, Town of Townsend, Public Works Consolidation Analysis. And it suggests ways to do exactly what we were just talking about.
And the way I kind of looked at it was, if you have, even 2 steps, one is one manager for DPW, where each division kind of still is separate, if that's all you can, that gives you the structure by town meeting vote. And then the second step would be integrating it. So you could still have kind of the same.
I would go straight to the integration. I would.
Yeah.
Lori,
Yeah.
there's a comment.
Oh,
No, question.
sorry.
Are you looking for, like, citizens to be on that committee, or is it elected officials?
We were thinking the, not elected officials, the town staff who are in these departments now is what kind of makes sense. There had been a town committee.
We can get
When
at
this,
large.
you can find this online.
Oh, thank you.
If you go to DLS and you just Google Townsend reports or whatever, it'll come up. But anyway, it's kind of there.
And I think the one reason it's kind of a big thing is because, was the unions have to be involved in job descriptions
Yes.
potentially, and
Yes, it will involve that. But
and so doing that up front so then it can be part of the budget process.
yeah,
So it's kind of a tight timeline.
it is a tight timeline, but otherwise, we are not in good shape going forward. As far as salaries go for people. And so I don't know how that's gonna work unless there's an override.
This also, hinges on the voters, agreeing with, the structure that's gonna be put in place.
I think presenting it with the cost potential long-term cost savings.
Yeah.
I think at this point, most people, at least that I'm hearing, would like that, so.
We
Obviously,
have
the
to
vote
do
could go
something.
differently, but-
Let's see, if we don't restructure, we're running with, as it is, there's, openings in highway. And without those openings, because those people plow, without those openings being filled, we're looking at contractors to do our plowing, which is way more expensive.
And how are we gonna pay for that?
And without having free cash at our disposal. We paid $400,000 in snow and ice from free cash this year, plus a little more, if I remember right. So that came out of the emergency fund from the FinCom. So it's not a good situation.
Nelson, I just like, my little PowerPoint is just like a high-level overview, if anybody, if you can use it however you want.
Can we see it?
I mean, there's,
Or no?
I'm not logged on right now, so I can't.
Okay,
I can just put it on SharePoint
Yeah.
for,
all right.
feel free, it's basically just like, I broke it down to 2 steps. One was administration, and then if you need another year to basically look at all your equipment and your facilities, and that's like a longer term
Right.
process.
I think that town did this with I think it's written in here, this is where I got this from, with fire and EMS, which were separate departments that were then combined. I think this is like a similar, bigger maybe, but similar situation. So do we want to have a motion to set up a DPW study committee? Or are we just talking?
I mean, does it have to be an official committee, or is it just employees working together and bringing us back?
And reporting back to us at the first meeting in November, maybe? On where you are with this, Nelson?
yeah, that should give us some time to have some, meaningful discussions about.
Yeah, I would say the first
Whatever that November meeting is.
having a DPW study committee consisting of the department heads of the segments, whatever you want to call them.
So it'd be highways, parks and cemeteries,
Facilities.
and then
Recycling
health administrator for that.
and the town administrator. And report to us in November. I like dates. If I don't have a date, it doesn't get done. So, first meeting in November.
Do you want any at-large people?
Well, then
Or
we'll have
just
to,
department heads at this point?
At this point, I would say just department head.
Okay.
because then they don't have to post.
Right.
They don't have to post, they don't get appointed, they just have to show up.
They're the employees and they're the people that are
Okay.
most affected.
Right, okay. So that'd be the first step. Okay. 417, transfer properties to Conservation Commission. Transfer properties to Conservation Commission. This is per town properties. Yeah, I'm roasting.
Yep.
I was gonna say something. Anybody else want?
Yes.
I am fine, but I know that I did not wrap myself in this yet, so I know we're good.
So,
I didn't see anything in here. Is there something in
yeah,
there?
the
417 with the
Yeah.
second page.
Meeting.
Conservation Commission voted to take custody of, there's 3 different properties. They were recommended by the properties.
Town Properties Committee.
These are the 3 across the river, right across from Adams Park, Adams Dam. Is that correct?
Well, it's New Fitchburg Road, Laurel Drive, which is not in, Laurel Drive, Tamarack Lane, Sumac Drive.
Why did I think it was different?
So the town properties, there was a bunch listed, but then the Conservation Commission
Voted
for 3.
3.
River Bank Terrace parcel.
I just have the parcel
That's
ID.
over
Yeah, I
here.
know.
The one off Worcester Road
That's over here.
and Elm Street.
Those all three over
And
there.
Elm Street. I think these are the ones along the river.
Oh, so the bottom three.
And what is the advantage of that?
It was recommended by the town properties committee.
To get it off the town list, so it goes to conservation.
But what's
They
the,
accepted them. They're not, when town properties met, they suggest properties for a
I
trust.
understand. But they've been there for a long time, these three. These are the three parcels along the river.
Yeah,
So right now, if there's just, if we are technically a town property, but this would be saying that conservation manages them.
Okay.
conservation oversees them versus the town. What are your thoughts? What is your issue?
My issue is that Conservation Commission changes and changes and changes.
Well, the boards
But-
change.
But so if so we put Dudley Meadows in conservation, right?
Yeah, that's a little different. It's not along the river.
So when it's put in conservation, doesn't that then limit?
Use.
Can't get the maps.
By putting in conservation, wouldn't it limit?
I'm gonna get the maps. These are the river properties. I'm a no on that. I think there might be a time where, the town wants to do something with, the properties along the river. Might want to make a public park there. The Conservation Commission might say no. What if you want to put a canoe rental in? I just think that, and I am a conservation person.
Yeah, I know.
So I would want to have more discussions on this.
Should we have a joint meeting at some point in time this fall with conservation?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
This isn't on the annual town
No.
meeting.
No,
right?
no,
And
no, no.
does it need to be to transfer it? I believe
It
it
would
does.
need to be next spring.
Yeah, I want to have more discussion on this
I'm good with that.
before I do this. And I am just having the hardest time with this.
Maybe we can ask Colby to come to a meeting and
Nelson,
explain.
would you, give them, a response that we do have some questions. And, we'd like to have a joint meeting with them.
I can't get to the maps. I had this problem when I looked at this at home as well.
Yeah, I haven't been able to access all the maps the right way recently.
Safari can't find the server. The maps are, I don't know what has happened to this webpage, but. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I know exactly which properties they are, and I think
What
they're.
do you want for a
across the
date
river.
on that?
By me?
What do you want for a date to meet them?
Or even just,
It's not a rush.
do we want, or
No.
just conservation officer? I mean, is it actually the whole committee or
No.
it could just be Colby?
It could be Colby, and James, but we have had such, Colby's only been here since what, January? Our conservation agents don't stay, the things get lost in translation. Good God, when they were naming the Squanicook as a wild and scenic river, our Conservation Commission voted against it. So against the Squanicook being wild and scenic. So where, something that abuts the, an open space preservation development, I'm good with transferring that to Constant. That is fine. That should have happened way back, or there should have been a CR on it actually, or something permanent. So that's a different story. When it comes to being along the river, I have a whole different take on it.
Well, there's probably so many restrictions already because of location.
Perhaps.
Well, why don't we have dialogue about it?
Yeah,
And any questions that
I
we
think
have
so.
can be
So
answered.
timeframe, I would say October, end of October, second meeting in October, something like that. We have plenty of time if the target is annual town meeting. Okay, I'm glad Town Properties isn't selling it.
No. Hopefully they meet soon and we'll look at all the rest of what we have, because the whole point is to dwindle the list down so that we actually don't own properties that we can't do anything with. And then the only time the properties will meet is when it takes on another property.
Well, you can look at what's back to Town Properties, those 6 properties that were given to us, 7 for affordable housing, and now we have we don't want that. You know, it's kind of like.
Wait and see how the town
That's
goes.
gonna work its way out. It will. You have a lot of the not in my backyard mentality.
Yeah.
Okay, so-
I cannot get to the maps, no matter how I go through here right now. It's been like this for about a week. So something changed. Could be, Patriot Properties or somewhere, or MRPC, but could you get to the maps?
If you give me what to input into the database, I can try.
Oh, you can get to that. I want to go to the map. There's a map 18, map 17, map 24, map,
But is it through this
yeah, and
link?
usually I click here. Click here. See where it says click here?
Business.
Yeah, we do.
And then executive.
Figure that out.
I don't think they're gonna show up.
Okay, well, we are gonna put this on another agenda.
Because I want to see it in relation to the river. And you won't see it if you just look at the property cards, which is what.
Right.
There you go. How'd you get to that?
Just through the assessor's website, assessing maps. On the assessor's website, assessing maps.
The first one. Okay, I go further down. So if you go to online property data.
No, I understand that. We were
Yeah,
just there and then
okay,
you clicked
yeah,
that. I think, this link is slightly different than,
yeah, okay. Anyway, let's
Okay.
go on. Yes.
Okay, 418,
This is second meeting
that's
of
gonna come
October.
back, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Second meeting
417.
of October.
418, discussion to approve job description changes for the recycling center staff. Now, this came from Kelly.
well, through the Board of Health. So they're looking to revise the attendant 1 job description. Currently, they want to change it to, you have to be at least 16, and you don't need a hoisting license. Because I think right now, attendant 1, you need to be at least 18 or over, and you need a hoisting license. So, as you know, the recycling center is only staffed during Saturdays, so I think, having like an older teenager, you might be able to get more people to apply for the job. There would still be, safety requirements, but, if you need a hoisting license, that's, very difficult for someone at that age to have.
My one question with this was, legal responsibility at the recycling center we have a 16-year-old helping someone lift a refrigerator out of their truck or
I think, well, weight wise, it's fine. It's really the hoisting because that would mean you are operating specialized equipment.
Yeah.
So I think helping or moving heavy objects, that's, anyone can do that. It's really the hoisting license requirement that, means you're operating specialized.
And is it, are we saying that there wouldn't be someone who had that on Saturdays?
No, so that would be attendant one. Attendant two would be 18 and over, and they would have a hoisting license. So you would have sort of two tiers of workers at the recycling center.
As opposed to just attendant, which is what they had before.
Correct. Yep. So I think you're gonna see probably more folks sign up to work there. And, because it's very difficult at times to find staffing.
Is there always an attendant one and attendant two there?
I don't know. I think there must be at least someone that's over the age of 18 with a hoisting license there at all times.
And these are not union positions, correct?
Correct.
I just would want to make sure that point is specified.
Non-union.
No, that there is always a person that's over 18 with a hoisting license. I'm fine if a second person is
Me
not,
too.
Yeah.
but as long as that person, I just
Yeah.
don't want that person working there by themselves ever.
And that's somebody who's at least 16. It doesn't mean that you can't hire somebody that's 17 or 19.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but it is also the hoisting license component as well. So you could be 18 without a hoisting license.
Yeah, right.
And you would just be hired at the attendant one salary.
I guess my other question too is this prudent now, or is this part of our previous conversation?
It's
Both?
these are funded. Are you asking how they are funded?
No. I mean,
No.
if we're having a conversation about a DPW,
This would be part of it.
yes, that should also be part of that conversation.
Yeah, I think it would be, because these, I would say these staff members are very fractional, on-call type. You have a list that you go through and see who's available to work, which,
Oh, really?
well, I think in a certain way, yes, because it is only, a couple Saturdays, a month. So I think finding
It's not a
someone,
lot of money.
finding
No, but-
finding like consistent staffing is very difficult. So I'm sure there's a bullpen of employees.
I never knew there was a bullpen of employees. I
Well-
thought that it was just that we had two attendants. So now we have a bullpen?
Well, I mean,
I
maybe
thought the fact that we couldn't get a second person with a hoisting license was the reason for going to this.
well, maybe I'm over exaggerating the term bullpen. I know cemetery and parks certainly do, and at any given time, there may be one or two people working a day to as
Those are
many.
just temporary people.
Well, I would say these folks are in that same category, very fractional, very part-time employees that you call on when you need them. Granted, the recycling center has more consistent hours that you need staff versus cemetery and parks where the work is a little bit more inconsistent, as needed. But I think it kind of goes in line with potentially the public works department, where you just have a group of employees, depending on their skill level and what licenses they have, you could call upon them to do multiple things.
Yeah. I think it could potentially even related to this. I mean, I don't know if we're off topic, but could give those people a chance to actually work if they're fractional part-time.
Yeah, maybe they'll get more
In other
hours.
departments.
Yeah, more hours, more exposure, just learn a different skill set.
I talked to Callie about the descriptions and she's okay with what we've been presented.
Yeah.
So
As long as
I'm good with
there's
it.
an attendant one and an attendant two there at all times. I'm good with it. I'm good with the descriptions.
Yeah.
But I hope that,
I just wanted to make sure there wasn't someone, like as you said, there was not
Well,
just.
It appears she's gonna be posting for them, 1 and 2.
So maybe,
One with and one without the license.
I thought we did have, doesn't matter. Okay.
got a motion?
So we're, okay to post for the job
Make
description.
a motion to update job descriptions for, recycling center staff as discussed.
Is there a second?
Second,
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Veronica Cal, yes.
Donna Goodrich, yes.
Laura Schiffern, yes. Okay, 4.19 highway plow sander dump truck vote as to useful life. Nelson?
So when we borrow pieces of equipment, there's a useful life that sort of that we adhere to, and depending on what that useful life is, that dictates the terms of the loan that we can get. Pieces of equipment like a dump truck, you can easily get 10, 15, 20 years out of it. That helps us stretch the payments out, so our debt payments aren't astronomical over say a 5-year period. So that really helps us be able to pay for these vehicles and stretch the useful life out a little bit.
Is that what this 15 years is?
Correct. So that page that you see there, that is the vote that you guys would potentially take tonight.
I thought we already did it. Which truck is this for?
We did it for one of them, but
It was.
That's why,
we just did one in July.
yes, yeah.
For the new,
That was for the.
Oh, these are for the plow sander dump trucks. These are the two that were borrowed for a couple years ago.
And I think the one you voted for was the 6-wheel dump truck.
Yes, that's exactly right. Okay.
So this is a similar situation. We're looking to change the maximum useful life for this piece of equipment that we've borrowed for.
would you like me to read this one off?
Do you have
Madam
that
Chair? I do.
page up?
Vote of the Board of Selectmen as to useful life. I, the clerk of the Board of Selectmen of the Towns of Massachusetts, certify that at a meeting of the board held on September 2nd, 2025, of which meeting all members of the board were duly notified and at which a quorum was present, the following vote was unanimously passed, all of which appears upon the official record of the board in my custody. Voted
Can I just say what date you said?
September 2nd.
Oh, I thought you said October. Okay,
I didn't think so.
okay.
Voted that the maximum useful life of the departmental equipment listed below to be financed with the proceeds of the $360,000 borrowing authorized by the vote of the town passed May 7th, 2024, Article 8, is hereby determined pursuant to General Law, Chapter 44, Section 7(1) to be as followed. Purpose: plow standard dump truck and equipment number 1, borrowing amount $180,000, maximum useful life 15 years. Plow sander dump truck and equipment number 2, borrowing amount $180,000, maximum useful life 15 years. I further certify that the agenda for the meeting, a copy of which is attached hitherto, was posted at the meeting location prior to the meeting in compliance with Section 7-9B of the town charter. I further certify that the vote was taken at a meeting open to the public, that the vote was not taken by secret ballot, that a notice stating the place, date, time, and agenda for the meeting, which agenda included the adoption of the above vote, was filed with the town clerk, and a copy thereof posted in a manner conspicuously visible to the public at all hours in or on the municipal building that the office of the town clerk is located, or, if applicable, in accordance with an alternative method of notice prescribed or approved by the Attorney General as set forth in 940 CMR 29.032B at least 48 hours, not including Saturdays, Sundays, and legal holidays, prior to the time of the meeting and remain so posted at the time of the meeting, that no deliberations or decision in connection with the subject matter of this vote were taken in executive session, all in accordance with General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 1825, as amended.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. And that is for the clerk to sign.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it is.
Yeah. No, just give it to.
Okay, 4.20, mandatory referral ZBA 159 Brookline Street. Nelson, do you want to take this?
I don't know much about
Just gonna
it.
bring this to Sabrina.
Okay, thank you.
What are they looking to do here?
Oh, it's at the, I was wondering what that was. Okay, so what are they doing? They have cabins up there.
My question was, is the house included in this? Because it's on the property, are there 10 cottage dwellings or a house and 9 cottages? And if that's the case, could one of them be deemed affordable?
I didn't read this whole thing. There is a house
Mm-hmm.
and there are 9 cabins.
Mm-hmm.
Special permit, 2009, 2010 for rehab. This is true. I remember that.
So when we get a mandatory referral, is this just for our notification, basically? We don't,
Comment.
oh, we do comment.
Comment.
Yes. And we can make no comment, or we can say we trust the ZBA with their decisions.
This is coming from Diane. It's outline commercial. Plus the editing of existing special permits.
Keep losing my SharePoint.
Not a new subject matter. Permit. Change. Page. I'm gonna trust that planning knows what to do with this.
That's where I was kind of going with it.
Anyone else have any comment?
It seems like it's basically just, they want to make sure that it conforms to how it's currently being used. It has been used for a long time.
Right. That's what I get from it. Nothing about selling or.
No changes to how they're
no.
doing anything.
Are these long-term rentals then, instead of short-term rentals? Is that what they're asking? But they're asking for a change. I request the editing of existing special permits granted in 2009 and 2010, not a new special permit. Change hotel motel clause to long-term rental to reflect current usage. So I guess they're long-term rentals.
Yeah.
And so they want, it's kind of a change of usage because it was a hotel motel special permit.
It seems like from what they're saying, though, it's never been used that
Maybe
way.
the special
Well,
permit.
now, in the most recent, it isn't being used that way, it's long-term rental,
It was always long-term.
Yes,
I
that's what
remember
they're
the
saying.
place,
but
and they got their permits when they renovated each cabin, which had to be done.
right.
Do you wanna trust the planning board knows what to do?
It's the CBA, I think. It's not.
I thought this came from planning.
All the documentation is from, says
Zoning.
board.
It is zoning.
CBA.
And we're scheduled to have a public hearing tomorrow evening regarding this.
They need to reapply to the zoning board for use as a long-term rental unit in lieu of the hotel motel because they do have cooking in it.
It's housing for somebody.
Why am I even worrying about making it affordable? We don't want that in this town. Okay, whatever.
We need more housing.
We need
We do.
affordable housing
Yeah, we
as
do.
well.
And
So,
that's probably the most affordable rental that there is available in Townsend.
is it? I don't know. I mean, I
I do.
honestly don't know. So, anyway,
Sorry.
I'm
Are we
fine.
good to leave it to zoning?
Yes.
Okay, 421, mandatory rural planning. Okay. MBTA community center. Any thoughts?
There should be an affordability piece incorporated, and I understand that that was voted against. Yeah. That's what I think.
I don't think that's part of the MBTA bylaw.
Absolutely, it was an option, and the planning board,
I know, but
they voted to include it. And then last August, they voted not to include it.
so I was still there.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, you were. So anyway, yeah. But it could be part of it, and it's not. And anyway.
I wrote that. Suggest affordable component.
Yep. That's all.
I mean, I can't remember why.
Because the decision was that it was to make it all market rate, because just the fact that there were so many would make them affordable. And that is a fallacy.
How it works, yeah.
That's not how it works. If that were the case,
Boston
then,
would be affordable.
then the, 55 and over housing that's going in town would be affordable, but it's not, it's market rate. And I've quit going to the planning board to ask for it. Because why? And it's not the town will never meet the 10%.
No.
Without, it is impossible if you don't mandate it. And
I
even
agree.
though there is an affordability
Can you
bylaw, it
explain
has
what the 10% is for anybody who doesn't understand that?
It's
10%
mandated by the
of your
state
housing stock is mandated by the state to be
to be
affordable.
affordable.
Town is between 3.5% and 4%.
I just wanted that, the current percentage to be said out loud.
And
It went
if you
down.
have,
It went down because it was over 5. We were close to 6 at one time.
maybe a long time ago, but that, it hasn't been the case in the
Right
last 5
after,
years.
when Turnpike Village happened and, the
Buffy
Townsend
Smith.
Woods.
Maybe for a brief
There.
period of time, but not anymore because there's nothing that keeps it.
Okay, 4.22. Select board goals fiscal 26, discussion of timeline of deliverable.
Do we want to move that to the next meeting?
What is this?
Yes,
Timelines
Yes,
for goals?
yes, I think so.
9:25.
That gives more time. I think.
And 4.23, request to use Harbor Fire Station for makeup and changing studio for the Super Troopers 3 cast on 9/8/2025.
And I believe they're paying a nominal fee. They're willing to-
$1,000.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah,
And it said that all the equipment will be removed and staged for appropriate response times.
yes.
So
I think it's exciting, a fun thing rather than all this other.
would you like a
So-
motion?
Yes,
Yes.
I would.
I move that we allow the use of the Fire Station for makeup and changing studio for Super Troopers 3 cast on 9/08/2025 and they will reimburse us $1,000.
I will second that.
Any further discussion? That's coming to the town, not to the fire department. The money.
Is it?
Okay, hearing none.
It would come to the town, yes.
Okay.
Roll call.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Good job.
Laura Schiffern, aye. 4.24, ARPA grant opportunity for Townsend Council on Aging.
This is a grant that I think Kieran and with, in conjunction with the senior center, applied for a grant through the AARP organization. And this one was specifically for telehealth. So that's, virtual meetings, with doctors, providers, things like that. So they did receive a grant, and they have, isolated a space, in the senior center. This is, Rebecca Morris's old office, the community wellness coordinator. So it's a, it's an office, small, but, you get some privacy for any telehealth appointments. So the grant, I believe, is for up to $3,000 to set up a telehealth area. So it could be barriers, to give
Computer.
people privacy, computer, desk, chair, to get that all set up. So
That's great.
Elise and Jean will actually, I guess, be attending some training to, assist people if they have troubleshooting issues, whether it's IT related issues or, some other communication issues. So once they have that training, they can then train the rest of their staff and hopefully be up and running maybe in the December timeframe. So I'll be working with her and Guardian to figure out what the computer requirements are.
Yeah.
I think it's just, a decent laptop with a webcam.
Easy to use.
Yeah. So I don't think we'll really need the $3,000. We'll just do it, as cost effectively as possible. But if we can get something else with that money, or a printer, or maybe some other things, we'll try to squeeze that in as well.
It's
So-
funding for equipment, technical support, and funds for digital literacy training.
So I'm excited that we got the grant.
Yeah, it's cool.
I think it was something kind of last minute, and to Kieran's credit, he mobilized very quickly and just pushed the application through.
Okay, so that's just informational. Work session 5.1, administrators report.
Yeah, I had two big ones in community. The Kids Country Playground, while the structure is up, they're putting down the rubber materials sometime this week. And then afterwards, we're going to be paving the ADA compliant parking spots with the leftover money. So it's looking really great. Highway and Cemetery and Parks have done a fantastic job doing some of the work in-house, saving.
Working together?
Yep, working together. Sharing resources, equipment, personnel to get that done, saving some money versus having the contractor do it. So with the leftover money, we're hoping to put it towards the ADA parking spots. So that'll be after everyone vacates, and then we can do that on our own time. We've already gotten a couple quotes, I think. I'm hoping to get at least one or two more to get the cost down as much as possible.
Nice.
So I'm happy to report that's going very well. Let's see. You might have noticed some road work that started this morning, certainly around the Harbor Trace area. They're starting roadway construction, as well as paving in the coming weeks. So the neighborhoods in question are South Street, Warren Road, Shirley Road, and Apple Drive.
Where paving is being done.
Yep. So they're just sort of prepping the roads at the moment. Paving supposedly is going to be commencing in a few weeks.
Okay.
So.
We like better roads.
Yep. So using Chapter 90 money through the Highway Department. So that's all I have for this.
That's all?
Yeah.
Any board reports, general?
I just had the conservation stuff that we'll keep working on for this meeting.
I've had two meetings for not really public safety, but for the housing trust. So we're going to sell one of the pieces of property. So we're working on the RFP for that, and hopefully that'll be reviewed by town council by next week. And we're working on the CR for the Squanicook Meadows, and TASA working on their expansion plan. So it's all good.
I really don't have anything except that you already know that BBC is going to meet, BC is going to meet, and Town Properties is almost formed, and hopefully they'll get all the properties they can off our list. And again, I'm going to announce we still have volunteer positions, but we're going to have better forms soon. I think I was going to announce something else, and I don't think I wrote it down.
There was is this announcements that we're on? Communications, volunteer response forms. Did you all get the opioid thing? Is anybody going to that? Nelson, you might know. Is anybody gonna, it's for the town to sign on for further opioid funding?
Yeah, I think I saw some documents related to that, and I believe I did e-sign it. To be part of that, settlement. Yeah, I believe I had received the documentation.
Okay.
And I signed off on that.
As long as we're getting money when we need it.
So correction to this agenda is that our next meeting is 9:25 at 5 p.m. I have a question for clarification, and Veronica, I'm gonna ask you, because you brought it up about the list for the town administrator's report.
Yeah,
What if there's more and it's not on the list? Can
I
it still
think
be
that's
talked
okay.
about?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay, I just wanna make,
Yeah,
Sure.
I would think so. I mean, because there could be more than exact, but some of the things you know about, you want to list.
okay, all right.
That's what we always
I
did.
didn't, okay, fine, I didn't remember that from before, and I didn't wanna be restrictive by
Right,
doing it either.
yeah, no. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And then there was also the bill to sign on to for, an act to reduce incidence and death from pancreatic cancer. There was that, it was one of the House representative, I believe,
Oh, this is a
Yeah, I
town,
heard that.
Bedford, Mass.
maybe
like that.
so.
At least that's
Bill
where
Summer.
I got it from, I think.
Yeah. New Bedford.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A representative from there who's sponsoring a bill regarding pancreatic cancer, wanting to know if other towns want to sign on with a letter of support.
I saw it, but I didn't know, I mean, it wasn't brought here. Are you interested in having that done?
I just thought we should talk about it. I don't know if there's a time frame here that you have to sign on by. And I haven't talked to our representative to see.
Margaret?
Yeah. Because that's who this would go to, I would think. You know, you would ask your representative to sign on to the bill. So maybe we should talk to her.
Do you wanna do that? Can you see on there what the time frame is?
That's what I'm looking for.
'Cause
I think they
otherwise
just
it-
came back to session, right? By sending a letter to the chairs of the Joint Committee on Healthcare. I have attached the copies of the official letters from New Bedford and Dartmouth
I
for
saw
your
that.
reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see that, Nelson? Is that something that you thought we should
I did
participate in?
I did get that email as well. I think, you know, if it's something the select board is, behind, I think we should, the idea of, you know, signing the letter of support, I think we should, you know, either sign it or, you know, contact, you know, probably Margaret Scarsdale's office and let them know we're behind this cause, and she can.
Maybe we could just reach out to her, right?
Yeah.
Instead of an official letter.
Yes. And then decide if we want an official
Yeah.
letter.
Yeah.
Okay. You want me to reach out to her, or do you want to
Yeah, would
do
you?
that? I will.
Is there anything else?
Those were the only two things I could remember, the opioid thing and
I think review and sign.
Sorry to interrupt. I had a quick public service announcement. September 16th is National Voter Registration Day. So if anyone knows anyone who should be registered, or if you want to check your voter registration status, September 16th is a day to remember to check in on that.
Okay, thank you, Harrison.
this is for special town meeting, right, Harrison?
No, that's a national event. The actual last day to register to vote for a special town meeting is Monday, the 15th, the day before.
Okay, all right.
So the 16th is for
National Day.
November?
No, it's-
November election,
Yeah.
okay. So everybody got that? If you wanna vote in November, September 16th is your last day.
And if you want to vote,
It's just a national awareness day to make sure you're registered to vote. It's not, there's no November election. Yeah.
Yeah, just an awareness.
okay, all right,
Check your voter
Okay.
status, on September 16th.
all right.
5.5, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants out of session.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Veronica Kent,
Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schiffern, aye. Okay. 6.1, executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30A, section 21.
Thank you for your help.
Thank you for coming.
See you next.
We'll be in touch.
Is that the high school?
Special town.
the special town meeting is at the high school.
25th.
We will meet here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
6.1, executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30A, section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining if an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body and the chair so declares. Clerical union, supervisors union, highway water union, police union, and fire union.
Second,
Thank you. And we will adjourn from the executive meeting. We'll adjourn the general meeting at the end of the executive meeting.
we will adjourn from executive
We
session.
will adjourn. Oh, God.
Second.
Okay. And it is now 9:06 PM. Roll call,
Veronica Cal, aye.
Goodrich, aye.
and Laura Schiffern, aye.